of God. I am eternal presence. I am the Word made flesh. I am the silence behind the sound. I am the stillness beneath all movement. I am love, you are love, we are one, only love is real. I see you, I hear you, I know you, I love because I am. I create with love, I dwell in the end, I live from the wish fulfilled. I choose my state, I speak only what I desire to live. I imagine, and it is so. I declare, and it becomes. I walk in victory. I surrender to love. I trust the unfolding. I release the past. I forgive everything. I embrace the now. I breathe and allow. I accept all of me. I rest in what is. I remember who I am. I never left the garden. I am what I choose to embody. I was never broken. I am the dream fulfilled. I'm the healed and the healer. I am the spark of creation. I am not the story. I am the author. I am the name unspoken. I am the voice before the voice. I am the image and likeness of God. I am truth, remembering itself. I am not separate. I am one with all things. I am the breath and the fire. I am the return. I am love. I am held. I am whole. I am safe. I am powerful. I am free. I am light. I am love. I am the operant power. I am the Word made flesh. I am awake now. I am whole. I am. I am. I am. I am. I am God. I am love. I am light. I am safe. I am joy. I am peace. I am whole. I am one. I am the dream. I am that I breath. I am that I am. I am. I am. I am love. I am whole. I am peace. I am joy.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this great big flat baseball field underneath the dome, underneath the somewhat weakened power and authority of the Houston Astros. Currently under the struggling Houston Astros, the Astros who are, well, trying their best to find the magic that's going to be required to get them to a wild card spot. It's interesting. I heard yesterday people were talking about AJ Hinch. Oh, he needs to come back. The Astros need to get him back. Well, it's kind of funny that some people were actually saying that. But now look at what the Tigers are having to deal with. Same thing as the Astros, falling apart right at the end. You know what I'm saying? So Hinch hasn't provided any extra oomph for the Tigers here at the end of the season than Espada has. So what good would that have done the Astros in this situation? You never know. Things could have actually been worse. Luis Garcia, they were just showing on the screen there. Garcia is now scheduled for surgery again. Will not start in 2026. Talk about painful. Feel really sad for him. Can you imagine getting injured, going out, having surgery just so that when you come back, you can pitch a couple of games and then get injured again and need more surgery? It's ridiculous. Something's wrong with the MLB. Teams used to use about 18 pitchers maximum throughout the year. Throughout the entire season. And their injuries were less. And their pitchers pitched more innings on average. There were more complete games. More pitches thrown. How is that possible? How is it possible that nowadays our pitchers are throwing fewer innings, fewer pitches, in many cases getting more rest, but yet we're using more pitchers and having more injuries? I don't really understand that. Something's really wrong in MLB. Hey, Shay, good to see you. Shay says, let's hope Astros win this one and Detroit loses today. I'm all for that. Framber Valdez is on the mound today. Let's take a look at some scores on the screen. Let's see what, if any, games are on the way, or already underway, rather. KC going to be playing the Angels. Another Rockies-Mariners game. They're talking about Framber 6.71 ERA since August 1st. 6.71, one of the worst in the ML. Pittsburgh playing Cincinnati. Tampa Bay is in the top of the 7th, 5-2 over the Orioles. The Twins are beating the Strangers 1-0 in the top of the 3rd. Of course, this game is getting warmed up. Same thing with the Draft Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Marlins will be playing the Phillies starting in just a bit. Tigers and the Guardians, they are in pregame. White Sox and Yankees. Red Sox, Blue Jays. Hey, Mr. Texas Grass, have a good day at work. Otsukare-sama desu. Thank you for your hard work. Mets are at the Cubs today. And those are all the games. At the Astros pregame show, they're talking about how the A's are not the same team they used to be. Well, they're definitely not playing like it. Astros lineup today will be slightly different. Got a couple of changes. Altuve will be leading it off. He's at second base. Isak Paredes batting second in the DH spot. I'm glad to see that he's still not playing in the field. I think that as slow as he's moving, he definitely shouldn't be playing in the field. Correa batting third at third base today. Yesterday he was at shortstop, but they shuffle him back over to third. Victor Caratini's batting cleanup today. How about that? And he's catching. Diaz is not in the game today. If we're lucky, Diaz will have a complete 100% break from the game. Walker is batting fifth at first base. Batting sixth is Jesus Sanchez. He'll be in right field. Zach Cole in center field today. Jake Myers is out. Batting eighth is Taylor Trammell, who's in left field. And then Mauricio Dubon in at shortstop. Pena still out of the game with his oblique soreness. Thanks, PK. I appreciate that. And I agree with you. Putting Walker in consistently between the cleanup spot and the fifth spot makes no sense. What has he done to earn that? He's batting .234 for the season. His WAR, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but a lot of these players are rated by their WAR, WAR. Did you know that his WAR is lower than Jose Abreu's WAR? Did you know that? -3. -3 WAR. He's so bad this season that he has a -3 WAR. Jose Abreu had -1. That's pretty insane. PK says oblique soreness is I don't, what is appropriate? Is it supposed to be appropriate? Well, I think anytime that the Astros come out and say, oh, he's got some discomfort or he's got some soreness, it's bleak. We can't really seem to trust what the Astros say about any injuries, the kind of information they give us. Yeah, Mr. Texas Grass, I'm in agreement with you. My thought is a healthy Paredes is a first baseman. He doesn't really match for second base. Having him at first base seems to make the most sense. It's interesting because even though Altuve is not currently Altuve is not a Gold Glove second baseman, but he's also not terrible. There's no other good choice. Some people point to Urias, but Urias hasn't done so much for the Astros that he has built himself up to be a solid, consistent choice for second base. You know what I'm saying? And I think we've got some young guys now that we're working on to be outfielders. Walker 7th in the American League in Ks. Not just that, his percentage of strikeouts, like per at bat, is insane. Earlier this season, the last time I checked, he was at 33%. That means that out of every 3 at bats, he's striking out. Now, it was pointed out, and I agree, that depending on what kind of a batter you are, striking out 33% of the time is not a big deal. Because if your OPS is nice, if you're getting a lot of doubles, maybe some triples and home runs, if you're providing thump, it's no problem. But Walker is not providing enough of that. As a matter of fact, we can take a look at his stats right quick. Let's pull him up on the screen. Mr. Christian Walker here. I mean, we people often talk about Altuve. Oh, he's 35 years old. He's past his prime. Well, Walker is not far behind. He's 34. This year, Walker has come to the plate 572 times. It's crazy. That's a lot. Out of all of those at bats, he's got 134 hits. Just 82 RBIs. He actually managed to get 2 stolen bases. That's funny. His on base percentage is below 300, which is bad. OPS is 695. That's the big problem. If you're going to be striking out a lot, then your OPS needs to be higher. I would say that if it's below 800, then you're just not worth it. But he's not even at 700. In the last 7 games, he has batted 24 times and he has struck out 11 times. It's almost 50% strikeout rate. That's crazy. He's only had 4 hits. That's about a 16% hit rate. His batting average in the last 7 games is 167. No home runs. As a matter of fact, in the last 30 games, he has 6 home runs. But in the last 15 games, he only has 1. So he's actually gotten worse. But his batting average in the last 30 games is 232. And listen to this. Check out his on-base percentage. His on-base percentage for the last 30 games is 265. Batting average, 232. That's absolutely hideous. Really, really bad. And 42 strikeouts. 42 strikeouts out of 112 at-bats. If you combine his walks and his hits, he still has more strikeouts. 26 hits, 3 walks. That means 29 times on base between getting hits and getting walks, but 42 strikeouts. That doesn't include ground outs or flyouts. That's just strikeouts. That's crazy. His strikeout rate right now in the past 30 games is more than 40%. That's got to be the worst. If not, it's got to be in the top 3 of the past 30 games. It's got to be in the top 3 worst in the MLB. This season, the Astros are 4-8 against the A's. This is the first time that the Astros have had a losing season against this team in 5 years, when they went 3-7 against the A's. Pretty crazy stats, right? PK says move him across the diamond and you're going to trade Walker and eat 35, 40 million. I think they're going to have to eat the money with Walker. He's just, I mean, do you really see him getting better or coming back? I don't. But even if he does, that's the thing I don't understand. Even if he does have another great year, he's just going to provide a so-so performance. And we need better than so-so. I mean, they brought him in. Think about how crazy that is. They brought him in hoping that he would have a so-so year. If he could just do so-so, he'd be okay. But he hasn't even done that. Can you imagine getting into a relationship and when people ask you, you know, why did you get into a relationship with that girl or that guy? And you say, well, I expected that they'd be able to at least be a so-so partner. And that's good enough, as long as I can just have somebody that's so-so. And I decided to take a chance. So we got married, right? We made a contract, so to speak. We got married. But after just a year of marriage, they haven't even been able to be so-so. Do you think that's going to be better next year? Uh, Most likely not. If they were so-so before, and they're not even so-so this year, you think they're going to be better next year? Most likely not. It was a bad decision from the beginning. Yeah, we most likely won't see Urias much longer. PK, you're right about that. And that's one of the things. The people that really tried to support Walker, defend Walker, all they have to say is, "Well, he's a Gold Glove. He's a Gold Glove." Well, number one, he's not a Gold Glove. He got a Gold Glove before, but he's not a Gold Glove. And when it comes to the basic fundamental plays on defense, he can handle those no problem. If there is a ball in the dirt or a line drive or a low throw or a throw off the base, and he has to move off the base to catch it and tag the runner, these things are not difficult for Walker. He's good at those things. Those are basic plays. These are plays that any first baseman should be good at, and Walker can handle those no problem. But when the plays become, excuse me, when the plays become complicated or compound, Walker tends to break down and mess up the play. So, for example, if somebody hits a ball to first base like a slow roller, and he has the opportunity to snatch it up, run in, scoop it up, throw to second base, or something like that, where it's not as straightforward. He has to do a combination of things or a very quick series of things. I've noticed that most of the time he messes it up. To me, the Gold Glove is the guy who does all of the foundational things well, plus the difficult things really well. That's what a Gold Glove is to me. And Walker is not that guy. I'm sorry, he's just not. So when people say he's a Gold Glove, no, he is not. Is present tense. He was a Gold Glove. Right now, he's just doing the bare minimal that all first basemen should do. So I don't agree that he's some kind of awesome Gold Glove first baseman. Yeah, that's right. Altuve, that's one thing Altuve definitely has on Walker. As many crazy at bats as Altuve's had this year, he can still hit the fastball. Not always. He still likes swinging at some garbage. Looks like Fromber has cut his hair. Can you believe that? He's no longer the Predator. Some people have called him the Predator with that hair, but it looks like he's cut his hair. Let's see if it helps change him. We'll see. No problem on the misspells. As long as I can understand it, I don't care. If I don't quite understand what's being said, then I'll ask. Yeah, Texas grass is atrocious. Yeah, it is. Do you remember when Espada was asked why he continued to play Abreu through that horrendous slump last year? And he said, look at the back of his baseball card. Shocking statement. Yeah, but you know what? There's an expression that Espada wasn't familiar with, which is past performance is not indicative of current results, or past results are not indicative of current performance. And this is true. This is why historical data can be misleading. They're showing the changes in the wild card race positions. The Astros were at the top of that for a while, and now they're slightly on the outside looking in, one game back from the Tigers. Yeah, Fromber with the hair change. No more extensions. Hey, Texas Dave, good to see you. Welcome back. Just win Astros baseball. Anything can happen any day. That's true. That's why we can't be guaranteed a win no matter what the Astros do today. They could get blown out today. They could blow out today. They could lose 1-0. They could win 1-0. It could be a close game with multiple runs on both sides. There's really no way to know. All we can hope for is for Fromber to restore some of his former dignity. Pitch a good game for the Stros. By the way, it is 4:35 for those of you who are in the Central Time Zone. Pretty sure it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. It is Friday here in Japan. Thursday afternoon for those of you in the U.S. I hope you are having a good day so far if you're at work, listening in. Thanks for joining. And otsukare-sama desu. It just means thank you for your hard work. Altuve is leading it off for the Astros today, and he'll be at the plate in just a moment. The A's are wearing yellow and white today. Nice and clean looking. Nice and bright and shiny. Yep, that's right, Dave. Cleveland needs to beat Detroit, and the Astros win. If that happens, it will be much preferable. So we will be keeping track of that game today, too. Yeah, the Astros have had those must-win games. But to me, the must-win game is the game where if you lose, you're out. That's the only must-win game. When it gets to a certain point where losing is going to kick you out of contention, then it becomes must-win. Altuve's at the plate. Here comes the first pitch. JT Ginn on the mound today. He fouls the first one up and back out of play. 93 mile per hour pitch. 0-1 is the count. Altuve's batting average has suffered so much it has gone all the way down to 263. But you know what's interesting is how Altuve's batting 263, and that's terrible for him, but it's still much better than several of the other players. Swing and a miss. The sinker at the bottom of the zone. 0-2. Hello, Fred. Good to see you. Astros Houston. Hello, John. Good to see you. Welcome back. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Altuve. Or to Altuve, rather. From Altuve. He might be pitching later. It depends on how the game goes. We don't have McCormick. Maybe Altuve will take over if we get... Either if we blow out the A's or if they blow us out, maybe Altuve will pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the toss. Slider at the bottom of the zone, fouled off. Count remains 1-2. Well, if he dominated us last time, maybe that means we can dominate him this time. We can return the favor. 1-2 pitch on the way. Strikeout. Swing and a foul tip miss on a ball outside the zone. A slider. Should have let that one go for ball 2. Well, that's the thing, PK. It doesn't really matter who pitches to the Astros. It can be a guy who's an ace. It can be a guy who's terrible with an 8 ERA. And the Astros can give opposite results. They can destroy the Cy Young guy, and then they can make a trashy pitcher look like a Cy Young guy. Fredis is at the plate, takes the first pitch for ball 1. Here's the next toss. Whoa, almost got him. And did it get him? Yeah, I got him on the elbow. That was a nice, easy hit by pitch. That's kind of a hit by pitch that you want right there. It just barely touches you on the elbow. I think the catcher actually caught that. It touched him very lightly. And we have a runner on first. For South Korea, here's the first pitch to him. Outside on the slider, ball 1. Yeah, it didn't get him by much. 1-0. Low and outside, 2-0 to Korea. It's interesting how that got him on the elbow guard, but it hit him so lightly that it still went straight into the catcher's mitt. That's the way you want to get hit right there. Below the zone, 3-0. 3 good takes by Correa. Thank you, PK. Yeltsin says maybe they can play better in the daytime. We'll find out. That's for sure. Here comes the 3-0. That's in there. He takes that one right down the middle. 3-1. Here comes a 3-1. 92 inside, fouled at the plate. Another sinker. Full count for Correa with Paredes on first base and 1 away here in the top of the first. Got about 46 people following along right now. A modest amount. Thank you all for being here. I know that it's an early afternoon game, and although we really need it, a lot of people have already given up. And as a fan, I don't understand that at all. Here's the pitch. 93, fouled off on the right side. I'm getting tired of hearing supposed Astros fans saying that the Astros don't deserve to go to the playoffs. They should just lose and go home. Low and inside, ball 4. Good take. Correa with a walk. Full count. And then drawing the walk. Good at bat for Correa. 2 runners on first and second for Victor Caratini, the Batman. Let's see if we can get some better results with Caratini in the cleanup spot. This is only the 4th time that Caratini that has batted cleanup for the Astros in 2025. Swing and a miss on the changeup, strike 1. Caratini calls timeout. Here comes a pitch from Ginn. ripped down the first baseline, but foul. 0-2 is the count. He destroyed that cutter, a 91-mile-per-hour cutter. Caratini was all over it, but fouled it off. Every time I see Caratini bat left-handed, I keep thinking about those grand slams that he had. And I remember I haven't seen him rip one out in a long time. Hey, there we go. Caratini rips it through the right side. Freitas is actually going to be waved in, and he's going to score from second base. How about that? First score in a while. Having Caratini bat cleanup works out. The 91-mile-per-hour cutter again. So it's that same pitch that he ripped the last pitch. The pitcher went back to it. Caratini punished it right through the middle of the field. First hit for the Astros. It's 1-0. We got runners on the corners. Everybody's favorite Astro, Christian Walker, is at the plate. Here's the toss. Outside and in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 down. Astros actually have a lead for the first time since the Rangers series. 5 games, no lead. First one. Here comes the pitch. Grounded foul at the plate. 1-1 is the count. Larry says he bet $5K on the Astros. Good luck to you, sir. Shoot'em says, currently listening to you while in a work meeting on my headphones. Don't tell the boss. I will not tell the boss. I'll keep the secret if you keep the secret. I do hope you win, Larry. Not just for you, but for all of us. Caesar says, praying for the Astros to win. This has hit a slow roller to second base, and they're going to try to turn second. They say that Walker is safe at first base. That might score another run. Walker tried to ground into a double play. I'm wondering how it could have even been that close. The A's are going to challenge it. They're going to say, we think we got that out. How can Walker be that slow? It was a slow roller to third base, and I thought for sure it would be only 1 out at second base, but it wound up being so close at first. He's going to be out. Yeah, he's going to be out. Walker slow running to first base is going to cost the Astros a run. Wow. They're going to overturn that. They called him safe. I have a bad feeling. The Astros commentators are saying it's going to be tough to overturn, but I think they're going to overturn it. Walker should have been safe by at least a full step, but he was not hustling down the line, apparently. Why in the world, man? Minimal effort. Unless there's something wrong with Walker and he's not telling us. He always seems to exert the least amount of effort necessary. They didn't have time to go home, but he looked home. Then he went to second, then they went to first. They're doing the review right now. Yeah, you can see he gets it. Yeah, there was no chance at home. Man. Angel Man of Culture, welcome back. Good to see you. Here comes the call. Wow, they're actually going to make the play stand. They're going to say he's safe. I am shocked. It's 2-0 Astros. Wow, Walker does just the bare minimal to get on before that throw gets there. And with a fielder's choice, drives in one more run. It's 2-0 Astros in the first. 2 outs. Jesus Sanchez at the plate. Here comes the first pitch. That's high. Ball 1. It actually went the Astros' way. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, Lucas writes, good start so far. A little bit of luck. Some good hitting. 90 on the inside, ball 1. A couple of guys have had a good at bat, you know, taking the pitches like Correa. We got lucky with the hit by pitch, just barely on the elbow pad of Paredes. Caratini's big hit. That was the big thing. Getting that timely hit. Driving in a run. Sanchez fouls that one off. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jesus Sanchez. Buddy Sanchi. Yeah, PK, he did. Walker tried. He tried to end the inning. Tapped foul on the changeup. The count is 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. I sure hope the Astros are due for a win today. We need it. Need the Tigers to lose. Here's the toss. Sanchez ends the inning with a foul-tipped strikeout that goes into the glove of the catcher. The Astros managed 2 with 1 hit, a hit by pitch, a walk, and a Walker barely beating out a throw. I don't know how. It looked like that ball was in the glove. Definitely in the glove before he got there. But I'm glad to see that it actually went the Astros' way this time. It would be nice if the umpires were on our side for a change. That'd be great. That would be great. Larry, sometimes people still say that every once in a while throughout the season. They talk about Yuli. Yuli would be better than Walker. Yeah, but to me, that's a useless. I don't even think about bringing back Yuli. Not once have I ever thought about Yuli. That's like saying, you know, earlier, remember I mentioned the relationship thing, getting into a relationship with somebody because you're just hoping that it will be so-so, right? Imagine you're in that relationship and you're like, man, it'd be better to get back with my ex than to be with this person. Why would you even consider that? There's a reason why she's your ex or he's your ex. So how about an improvement? Forget Yuli. I don't want Yuli's so also. And having him back doesn't guarantee that he'd be any better than Walker's current performance. He might even be worse right now. You never know. But Yuli is a so-so player. I know that there was talk of him retiring. Did he retire? My thing is, why not get somebody who's good, you know? Get somebody who's good. Great. I know that's hard to find somebody who's great, but at least good. Very first pitch off of Fromber is hit into left field for a single. That's how Fromber starts off today, with Langoliers roping it into left field. Jacob Wilson comes to the plate. If that had been Nick Kurtz, maybe that ball would have been gone. But Kurtz is batting 6th today, if I can speak correctly. It is about 4:52 in the morning right now, so maybe that's why I'm having difficulty with my speech this morning. Here's the first pitch to Wilson. 91 on that outside edge, strike 1. Yeah, I mean, even put a couple of rookies out there, Larry, that can kind of fight it out and try to battle for that spot. Even that would be better. At least there's some competition going. 89 on the outside edge on the changeup. He fouls it off. 0-2 is the count. Yeah, you're right, PK. They missed the call, thankfully. Here's the pitch. Nice. 3-pitch strikeout. Half swing on that ball inside in the dirt. And that's a K. Man, that ball went straight into the dirt. A 79-mile-per-hour curve. That almost hit him in the foot. Wicked curveball there. Where is this Fromber? Where has this Fromber been since August? First pitch curveball to Soderstrom is low for ball 1. 1 out, runner on first. 1-0 is the count. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss, 78 miles an hour. Curveball right in the bottom part of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. You're surprised Sanchez is in the game, Luke? Why is that? I think it's just because of the pitcher. Here's the toss, 94 below the zone. 2-1. Yeah, Daryl, it's an early game. Welcome in. It's good to see you. Robert says good morning. Good morning to you, Robert. Here at work, just joined the chat. Good afternoon to all here in Houston and surrounding areas. Hope you're having a good day at work. Scott Amadeus, thank you for your hard work. In the dirt, 3-1 to Soderstrom. That's right, Daryl. You don't want leftovers. And you don't want seconds of leftovers, right? To me, that's what an X is. An X is not even leftovers. An X is like seconds of the leftovers. You don't want that. Maybe leftovers. It's kind of like Thanksgiving, right? You cook so much food and then you had to put a ton of it in the fridge and then you have leftovers for days. Every time you go back, every extra day you go back for more leftovers. That's like double dipping and triple dipping into your X. That's not what you want. Swing and a miss. Fromber comes back from the 3-1 count to get a strikeout on Soderstrom. So he's got 2 Ks now after that first pitch hit. 2 strikeouts. Colby Thomas is on deck. Now at the plate is Brent Rooker. Here's the first pitch. Nice pitch. Sinker in the bottom of the zone, strike 1. PK says Crane is undoubtedly furious with the Walker signing. He was with the Abreu signing. Yeah, sometimes he can hit it out of the park, and other times it's like, dude, what are you thinking? Fouls it off. 0-2, Brent Rooker. First 2 pitches are strikes. It would be nice for Crane to bring in a guy who is already established, a younger guy who's already established as a solid player, you know. How about that? Another strikeout on the curveball in the dirt. Fromber's curveball is looking nice early, so that's good to see. That was his bread and butter up until his breakdown. And now, seeing him throw it like that with so much movement, striking out 3 batters in a row. His very first pitch in this inning to Langoliers was hit into left field for a single. The very first pitch. Next 3 batters were strikeouts. The second batter managed to get to a full count, but at that at bat, Fromber was down in the count 3-1, came back to get the strikeout. The other 2 batters he completely owned, including Jacob Wilson, who he made look like a child at the plate. Where was this Fromber? Who is this guy? At the end of 1, it's 2-0 Astros. How about that? 1 hit for each team. The Astros have 2 lobsters, but 2 runs on the board. The A's have 3 lobsters. Now, this is a good opportunity for you guys who don't understand this. Let's take a look at this, okay? Real quick. Lobsters after 1 inning. Stros 2, A's 3. Now, you might be wondering, if there was one guy on base, how can there be 3 lobsters? Because this represents an opportunity. A lobster represents an opportunity. Basically, if you're a fisherman, you caught a lobster in your trap, and the first fisherman has an opportunity to either bring that lobster closer to home or to bring the lobster home. But he fails, and that creates 1 lobster, right? I call it a lobster, but basically it creates 1 lost opportunity, 1 failed opportunity to at least bring the lobster closer to home. That happened 3 times with a guy on base for the A's. That's why they have 3 lobsters. It's pretty easy to understand when you look at it that way. Zach Cole at the plate takes it low and inside for ball 1. Here comes the next pitch. It is a bright, sunny day out there today, isn't it? Swing and a miss, 82 miles an hour on the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cole. But yeah, this is the official red lobster. I should make a mock-up of that Texas grass. Does this hit out to right field? Is it going to drop? It looks like it might. It does. Nice. Oh, and Cole's going to get to second base easily with that hustle. Now, that's how you do it right there, Walker. Cole calls timeout, steps off to take off his leg protectors. That ball stayed high for a while, but it landed in the right spot, and then the right fielder couldn't handle it cleanly. Cole was able to stroll into second base. Leadoff double. How about that? Taylor Trammell. I haven't seen the Tram in a while. Let's see if he can have a big day today. He calls a timeout. He was given timeout. That was a nice one that he got because that was a strike. So as of now, the count is still 0-0. Here's the next pitch. Whoa, way high. Ball 1, 1-0. Yeah, that's right, Robert. I don't mind you saying it. I mean, to me, I feel the same way. He says, I hate to say it this early because you never know, but this looks like the real Fromber. Hope I don't eat my words. Well, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. At the very least, we can say, well, we had the first inning. We had the real Fromber in the first inning. The count is 1-1 to Tram. This is one player that I really wanted to do well. Even if he's playing poorly, he seems to try really hard. He gets upset with himself when he's not getting it done. He shows frustration, or he shows some emotion when he does stuff like that. You know, he fouls out to the third baseman there for out number 1. He tries really hard in the outfield on defense. He's fast. I thought, man, if he could be a consistent 270, 275 hitter, what a great support hitter he could be for the Astros. I like his attitude, but right now he's, once again, just one of those so-so backup players. Speaking of so-so this season, Mauricio Dubon is at the plate. Takes that first pitch low and outside for ball 1. We've got 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. And Cole on second base, just waiting to be driven in. Come on, Dewey, this is your ballpark, buddy. I don't know why he just backed out at the beginning of that pitch. Obviously was planning not to swing. There are a lot of people hanging out here that Dubon was chatting with before the game. They in the pregame show, they showed Dubon meeting a lot of people who live locally, people that he knows. Probably some of those like family to him. It's nice to see that, given they were all exchanging hugs and stuff. It was kind of heartwarming to see. 2 balls and 1 strike with that inside pitch. Yeah, shrewdly, can you believe we scored twice? Hey, Gregory, good to see you. Welcome back. Woof. 92 mile per hour sinker right in the middle of the plate. Swing and a miss. 2-2 is the count. Gregory, let's believe it, bro. The Astros will win the next two. The Tigers will lose the next two. Let's believe it. Let's believe it. Ginn comes off the mound, fakes a throw to second base. I do love the way Shrewdly said that, though. Hey, ... we scored. Yay. 91 on the inside, and he fouls it off his fists to keep the count 2-2. It reminds me of the Monty Python. Hey. And there was much rejoicing. Hey. I'd say Astros fans right now, whenever the Astros score. In the first inning, the Astros scored, and then they scored again, and there was much rejoicing. Hey. 85 miles an hour fouled off down the first baseline. Doobie staying alive. Trying to find a way to move Cole around. Right now, we've got a boat out to sea. It's about halfway out. Halfway out to sea, and it's got a lobster in there. Doobie trying to bring it closer to the shoreline. That's a take outside. 3-2. Yeah, Luke, that wouldn't have been a bad option, but the reason that they didn't have Trammell bunt is because he's a lefty. He's facing a righty, so they're trying to go with the statistics, you know, lefty batter versus righty. I think if Dubon had been the next batter with no outs, they probably would have had him bunt, you know? Probably. You're welcome, Gregory. A Doobie homer sure would be nice. He had a lot of them in this park last time. He's been quiet in this series. Maybe it's time for him to break out. That's ball 4, and Cole steals third base. He's in there. How about that? A walk steal. Doobie takes the pitch low for ball 4, and Cole gets third base. He's in there head first. Man, nice. That was a slider below the zone. Good effort right there. Maximum effort. Cole with a double, booking it to second base, and then stealing third on that walk. We have runners on the corners with one out. That brings up my all-time personal favorite hero. He has surpassed Michael Jordan on my list of all-time favorite athletes. Altuve, so small that he dug his way into my heart. Won me over. 1 ball, no strikes to Altuve. Here's the toss. Whoa, he rips it into left field. That's going to be all the way out to the wall. That's going to be a double for Altuve. Cole comes in. Doobie is held up at third. 3-0 Astros. Altuve gets it done. Another RBI. 76 for him this year. Jose Altuve, baby. Yeah, he stuck out the tongue. That's right. When we see the tongue, good things happen. That's my man right there. Jose, Jose. Jose, Jose, Jose. Yeah, Dubon was booking it around third. He had to slam on the brakes there and fell down and scrambled back to third base. Second and third with one out. And guess who's at the plate? Mr. Take, and drive up the pitch count. He socked the ball, Paredes. I've been meaning to create an emoji for Paredes. I've decided that I'm going to take out Walker's emoji, I think, and add one for Paredes. He deserves one more. He's done more for the Astros this year, despite being injured. Throw over to third base. Dubon gets back, no problem. Let's see here. Yeah, you're right, Robert. You and I agree. Tram is a hustler. Just needs a better eye for the ball. 100%. Here's a pitch. First one to Paredes is inside for ball 1. PK wants to know, what do you think about Julia Morales? You mean as her personality or her looks or both? I think she seems like a sweet lady. Seems fun. I like her because even though she's out on the baseball field all the time and she's around the players, and by the way, that's outside for ball 2 to Paredes. She obviously knows a good bit about baseball, and she's not annoying at all. She's fun to watch. She has some fun interactions. But despite all of that, she's feminine. She's quite feminine. So, you know, if a foul ball comes her way, she's really kind of scared of it. You know, she just that she's out there is really kind of entertaining to watch sometimes. So I like her. Hey, look at that. Paredes rips one through the left side, and that's going to score Dubon easily. Altuve moves over to third, and Isaac Paredes now with an RBI. So Isaac gets hit, and then he returns the favor with a hit. A nice rip through the third base side. Look at that line drive. Boom, baby. Right through the hole. He socked the ball to left field. 4-0 Astros. 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second. Who is this team? Geaux Stros. Heck yes. Carlos Correa at the plate. He drove up the count last time. That's a little tapper to the infield. And that's going to be a throw over to first base, so they don't score. Oh, no, they do score. That's out number 2. I forgot about that. Yeah, Altuve scores. Look at this. I was so lost there. I was thinking that was out number 3, but that's out number 2. Correa drives in Altuve with the bouncer to third base. How about that? 5-0 Astros. The Batman comes to the plate. He's the one that got all this scoring started with his single in the first inning. He's back up in the second. When you see the same Astros batter in the second you saw in the first, you know things are running well. 89 above the zone. We have runner on second base with 2 outs. Yeah, I think Cole has to stay in the lineup. I'm with you on that, PK. A little tapper to the pitcher on a half swing. That'll be an easy out at first base. The Astros inning is over, but not until after they get 3 more runs. It's 5-0 Stros off 4 hits. Holy freaking cow. Astros only have 5 lobsters and 5 runs. If we can keep that ratio like that, 1 run for every lobster, that's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Can you imagine having 10 runs and 10 lobsters? That would be virtually flawless. Good job. You know what? I'm so happy because it's 5 o'clock in the morning here. It's 5:11 in the morning. You know what? If the Astros were only going to win 1 game this series, this is the one to win. There are a couple of reasons why. Because the Tigers lost the last couple of games. There's no way to know for sure what they're going to do today. We can take a look at the scoreboard. Well, that's the upcoming Texans game, but for me personally, the Astros winning this game is such a big help. It's a help to my health. Such a big help, you have no idea. I had to get up around 3:30. I actually set my alarm clock. Normally I set my alarm clock an hour before the game, but today I set it 30 minutes before the game. And the reason is because I already had everything set up. Since I had time yesterday afternoon, I set up everything and had everything ready to go. All I had to do was turn on the computer and start the software, and everything was already ready to go. So I slept for an extra 30 minutes. I didn't sleep too bad, actually. I feel okay. So, but whenever I get up, yeah, the Tigers and the Gardindians, they're still in the pregame. But whenever I have to get up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and watch the Astros lose, it's so disheartening, so difficult. And then it's difficult to go back to sleep. Not because I'm stressing over the game or anything, but it just doesn't help. It's already hard enough to go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But when the Astros are doing what they're doing right now, especially Altuve contributing, I literally can lie down with a smile on my face. It's so nice. Colby Thomas at the plate takes that first pitch for strike one. Is Valdez going to get another strikeout? We'll see. Ooh, strike two. 95-mile-per-hour stinker on the inside. Valdez started this game off his first 3 outs as strikeouts. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It was a nice curveball, but a little too low in the dirt. Taken for ball 1-1-2. Yeah, Robert, you're right. Julia's a nice, true-looking professional. She seems like a fun lady. Seems nice. Yeah, I think she is too. Taken and married, maybe has kids. Hey, another strikeout. Another curveball low and inside. Valdez has become more aerodynamic with the short hair. That curveball's looking sweet. Sweetly wicked. Yeah, Dubon left some skid marks hitting the brakes at third. That's right. Gregory says, go Rockets. That's right. Let's go Rockets. That's the thing I don't quite understand about the new Texans, you know, the Houston Texans name, you know. It's like we have the Rockets, we have the Astros, and we have the Texans. Really? Why didn't we go with the theme, man? They broke the theme. I guess they were trying to attract more support in Texas as opposed to just locally. 0-2 is the count against Nick Kurtz. Look at that. Another strikeout on the curveball. Holy freaking cow. I'm gonna use a line from Braveheart. Who is this who speaks to me as if I needed his advice? Do you guys remember that? The king is talking to the gay boyfriend of his son. Fouled off. And the gay boyfriend says something to the king, and then the king says, who is this who speaks to me as if I need his advice? That's the way I want to phrase what Frommer's doing right now. Who is this who strikes these guys out as if I haven't seen him since August? Here's a tapper to Correa. Here's the throw to first. Beautiful defensive play. And this is the first out of the game. That's not a strikeout. 5 strikeouts, 1 ground out. That's the end of the second. For a change, the Astros are hitting the ball, giving Fromber a break and not allowing the opponent's pitcher to take a rest. Yeah, a 3-pointer. The Astros got a 3-pointer. We got a layup in the first, a 3-pointer in the second. Hopefully we'll get at least a free throw in the third. You know what I'm saying? Robert says, I miss these Astros that I'm seeing these first 2 innings. There's a purpose I see in their eyes. Yeah, you know, doesn't it feel nostalgic? How sad is that? We're just at the end of the second inning, and nostalgia comes to mind. Fromber's on the mound. He's striking guys out with his curveball right and left, and the Astros are scoring runs without any homers. We've got 4 hits. We got some walks. We got a hit by pitch. We got some bases stolen. 2 runs in the first, 3 in the second. It feels like, holy cow, this feels like the Astros World Series team right now. We're just 2 innings in. It makes me want to cry. It is a thing of beauty. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But Gregory You said that Julie is beautiful, and you think she's taken and married, but you got to be careful because the blonde, what's her name? I can't remember. If she finds out, she's going to be upset with you. Gregory says, do the switch of Walker to Perez. Oh, man. Whenever Gregory Martinez says switch from Walker to Paredes, you know that your time is up. The Christian Walker fan club is losing its members. It's shedding members. But I will say though, I mean, I'm not busting you. Like I said before, and I'll say it again. I really wanted Walker to succeed. I thought maybe we could do something with him. First pitch is a ball. Second one is a swing and a miss. It's 1-1 to Walker. Here's the pitch. Inside. Walker is 0-1 or 0-4-1 today with the fielder's choice, which he barely beat out. He did manage to score a run, so he does not have a lobster, oddly enough. Here's the pitch. 90 on the outside edge, 2-2. PK, we never know if Walker decides to take part in this World Series team, because today the Astros are a World Series team. Innings 1 and 2, Astros offense and defense is 100% World Series caliber. Let's see if Walker decides to join the party. He is on the coattails of it, you know. He did score a run, but he strikes out right there. So I gave him an opportunity. What can you say, PK? I gave him an opportunity. Man, talk about a throwback right here. Look at this. Jim DeShays, Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott. Oh, my God. We were just talking about nostalgia, right? 9 innings pitched by Mike Scott. No runs, no hits. 8 innings pitched by Nolan Ryan. Holy cow. Sanchi is at the plate, and he hits the very first pitch straight up in the air. Nick Kurtz comes in and grabs it for out number 2. So a strikeout and a flyout. And that brings up Zach Cole. He had a nice double, his last at bat, and a stolen base. And then he scored. He did everything that you're supposed to do. Get a hit, get on, steal base, score. Check, check, check. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the toss. Fouled off. The 85-mile-per-hour slider low. Get Morales off your mind. Yes. That's hit high in the air into center field. Man, if he had straightened that one out. Really high up there. Colby Thomas is underneath it and puts it away. Cole hit that one really hard, but it got way too vertical. That's out number 3. So the Astros have a strikeout, a pop out, a fly out in the 3rd inning. Three strikeouts now for the Astros after going through the batting order 1.5 times. Framber will be back up on the mound. He can't complain about not getting rest, though. He's only had to throw 22 pitches in the first 2 innings. 18 of those strikes, or 18 in the zone. We've got Hall of Fame level Framber on the mound through the first 2 innings. Let's see if that continues. Yeah, Framber needs at least 5 scoreless innings. That is a pretty sight, isn't it? 5 runs. Now, yeah, Gregory pointed out Guardians win these next games for the Astros, and then IELTS adds, I thought Guardians need to lose. No, if you take a look at the playoff picture right now, IELTS, the best result for the Astros is for the Tigers to keep losing. We're only one game behind the Tigers. They're the closest to us. So we need them to just keep losing. That's going to get us into that last wild card spot. Robert says, you ain't lying. These losses get me down too, but today's a new day. Go Stros. Absolutely. Go Stros, yos. They're showing more nostalgic highlights. Man, Fromber was even fatter back then than he is now. He's a thick guy, though. First pitch in the bottom of the zone, strike one. Brett Harris at the plate to lead it off in the bottom of the third for the homeless A's. Here comes the 0-1 toss. Grounded to Correa, who scoops it up, siphons it into his glove, and then expels it over to Walker, who puts it away. One down. 2 ground outs and a lot of strikeouts for Fromber this game. Willie McIver. Not MacGyver. McIver. Comes to the plate. Here's the first pitch from Fromber. That was not a bad-looking curveball, low and inside, but he didn't go after it. That was a good strikeout pitch, maybe. 1-0 is the count. Here comes the next toss. Outside on the sinker, 2-0. Yeah. No double dribble. Robert says, I'm telling you, I think Fromber's seen his life flash before his eyes. He saw that big contract flash before his eyes. His agent said, listen, get rid of the dreadlocks, change your physical image. Maybe it will help you change your overall image. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. That's a strike, 92 on the inside edge. 3-1 is the count. Someone get a camera. Here's the 3-1. Oh, at the bottom of the zone on the sinker. It could have been strike 2. Called a ball 4. Umpire did him dirty right there. Oh, yeah, by the way, they're talking about the Roberto Clemente Award. This is an award given to a player who contributes not just on the field, but also off the field. The Astros candidate is Josh Hader. For those of you who have not voted on that, you can go to the MLB website. All you have to do is Google it. Roberto Clemente Award voting. You can go there and vote for free, and you can vote for Josh Hader. He and his wife do a lot of off-field work for children, underprivileged children, something I support 100%. So if you have a few moments, I've already voted. That's a hit into right field. McIver books it over to third base. Cole and Sanchez have a little difficulty deciding who's going to get that ball. But because of that, McIver's able to book it over to third base. Yeah, if they had communicated better, we would have guys on first and second, or we'd have a throw out at third base. But as it stands, and we now have guys on the corners, first and third, with 1 out. Jacob Wilson comes to the plate today with an 0-1, or he comes to the plate with an 0-1 performance so far today is what I meant to say. Looking at too many things at the same time. Here comes the first pitch to Wilson. 95 at the bottom of the zone, strike 1. I always think it's funny how Wilson gets in there and he's like moving around in the box, right? He's moving around the box, shaking it around, getting all wiggly, shaking the bat, and then he takes the strike right down the middle. It's like, what? He looks all ready and stuff, and then he takes a strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Nice curveball, grounded to third. Craig goes to second, over to first. That's a double play. No run scores. Framber Valdez gets the double play that ends the inning. How nice is that to see? The A's were going to score a run right there. Correa goes to second. Altuve goes to first. Jacob Wilson, that is a guy that is not easy to get out right there, but they double him off. And the A's score zilch. They get themselves a hit, and that's it. A hit, and that's it. We are finished with 3 innings of ball. It's 5-0 Astros. The Astros are looking like they're supposed to look. Fromber getting the ground balls, getting the double plays, getting the strikeouts. Astros getting the hits, driving the runs in. Looking nice. 4 hits for the Stros, 2 for the A's. And we've got a 5-run lead. Gregory says, I forgot about the blonde. Are you sure? Or maybe it's just whoever's in front of you at the time. That's who you're thinking about. Hey, Fox, a bad, good to see you. Yeah, the start caught me on the way, but I see that we started well. Yep. Going good so far. World Series Astros going through 3 innings right now. Mark says y'all leave the Gold Glover alone. Let's see here. PK goes straight to he sucks. You can say that. I won't say that directly. I will say that he's playing in a sucky way. I think that's acceptable. His playing has been sucky, but I won't say that he sucks. Too direct for me. PK says, I think that moves Walker, who sucks, up to 6th in Ks. I like how you just add that in there. The tram is at the plate. Will it leave the station today? We'll see. He tries to crank it up right there. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike to the tram. Our leadoff batter here in the top of the 4th. Here comes the toss. Hey, look at that. Ding, ding, ding. The tram rings the bell and leaves the station. We have a single, a leadoff hit by Taylor Trammell. Nice. A little rip through the right side. Doobie comes to the plate with 1 runner on and no outs. Bob Nepper. Here comes the pitch. Ooh, outside edge. Fouled off in the right side. That was potentially a nice double into right field. Trammell trying to get that dirt straightened out over there. He tried to take off. And the soil over there was too soft, so he's trying to get it less soft, make it a little firmer to be running on. Outside, 1-1 to Doobie. Crudely says Jose Abreu was very good at the end of the year, outstanding in playoffs and clutch. Walker has actually been much worse when it matters most. Here's a pitch. High, ball 2, 2-1. Well, yeah, Abreu had some success in the playoffs, but it was kind of opposite of Tucker, right? Tucker was awesome during the season and then trash in the playoffs. Abreu was opposite, trash during the season and woke up in the playoffs. It's kind of crazy how that works. Throw to first base. Trammell is back. Tram is on first base with a single. Doobie's at the plate with a 2-1 count. No outs here in the top of the 4th. Here comes the pitch. 90 on the outside edge. Strike 2. Mark says, I don't know if it's your code or an MLB thing, but the batter's batting average is not working. Cole's second bat showed 0.00 average. No, it's working. It's batting average for this game, Mark. The code is working just fine. It's going to show the batting average for the game. Here's a pitch. Let's hit out to right, left center. It might get down. No, somehow Soderstrom comes in, loses his hat, and grabs that ball for out number one. Tram scampers back to first base. Doobie's 0 for... Well, technically 0 for 1, but he doesn't come up with anything this at bat. He had one walk his last at bat. Altuve back at the plate had a nice hit his last time up. Ooh, that one he hits off of his foot. And he drops his bat and hobbles around a little bit. He seems all right. Still walking it off. Now they're going to come out and check on him, I think. You can see where he fouled it off of his front left foot. Altuve says, I'm good to go. And now he's coming back into the plate, back into the box. Into the plate. Make it sound like a door or something. You could open it up and just go in there. You never know. Might be a secret. Secret. There we go with the rock lobster again. Rock lobster. Outside. 1-1 is the count to Altuve. Yeah, Jesse, the Astros decided to play. Yeah, Trammell does not seem like a headphone guy at all. Not at all. You're right about that, shrewdly. He's a boombox guy for sure. 90 up and in. He's probably got a cassette player, too. He's probably got some mixtapes. Maybe he's got some graphic equalizers. Graphic EQ lights that flash on the boombox as well. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Another pitch outside Altuve. Good take. It's 3-1. It is a batter's count right now. But let's see if Altuve gets a good pitch. Here comes the 3-1 toss. A little high and outside. Ball 4. Good take by Altuve. Not a really good pitch to be swinging at. Up and out. Good call by the ump. Laying off of that one. It was completely out of the zone. Altuve walks. Now we have runners on first and second. They're going to take a little timeout and come out to the mound. The catcher, Langoliers, I believe, going to have a little chit-chat with Ginn and the pitching coach. Altuve on first. The Tram on second base. We got one out. For Isak the ball at the plate. Dangerous man. Might be a homer right here. This might be a second home run for Isak. I'm just kind of feeling the vibes right now. Walker was born 0-2 last year. Are you serious? That's horrible. That's horrible. Mark says Cole had a hit in his first at bat. Second at bat, it showed 0 average. Just pointing out an observation. Well, if it shows that, it could also be a delay, Mark. But I appreciate you pointing it out. But here's the thing: if you see If you see any information on the screen and it is information about this game, then it's working. So there's nothing, if there's often a delay in the information. Sometimes you'll see a batter on screen that batted like 2 or 3 guys ago. So it can only update when MLB updates it. So, I mean, thanks for pointing it out, but there's nothing wrong with the code. Trust me, my code doesn't change. The only thing that changes from day to day on this code is the game pack number, the game PK. It's every number, every game has its own unique identification number. That changes. 82 up and in, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Paredes. Runners on first and second. The A's actually have some guys getting warmed up in the bullpen now, or at least one guy. Lefty. Here comes a 2-2 pitch to Paredes. Outside. So anyway, nothing wrong with the code, nothing wrong with the connection to the data. Just sometimes there are delays. But what I said still stands. If it shows the batting average of 0, that's because the current data says that he doesn't yet have a hit this game. So there you go. It is what it is. Full count to Paredes. Out to the left side. Trammell is going to score easily. Altuve is safe in at third. The throw is just not there in time. 6-0. Paredes comes through yet again. He didn't quite get it out to the wall, so he had to stop at first base. But another rip. Look at that. This time, an even bigger line drive over the head of the third baseman instead of just going through the gap third base. Look how close this was. Ooh, that was close. Runners on the corners with 1 out. That brings up Carlos Correa. Here's the toss. 84 on the outside edge, swing and a miss. Mark, you can just drop drop the data information though. I've explained all that, so I think we're past that. 90 inside. Ball 1, 1-1 to Correa. If the information is not shown on screen, then there's something going on with MLB. It has nothing to do with me or my code. So that's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. It's on MLB's end, not mine. Here comes a 2-1 pitch to Correa. Swing and a miss. Low and outside on the slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hey, George. Welcome into the chat. Thanks for being here. Here's the pitch, the 2-2 to Correa. Oh, he chases the slider low and outside. That's the first really bad-looking chase I've seen this whole game for the Astros. And they're going to go ahead and make a pitching change. With Caratini due up, they're going to take Ginn out and bring in a lefty. Force Caratini to switch. Move around to the right side. Six to nothing Astros with 2 outs. Runners on the corners. Caratini, the Batman, due up at the plate here in the top of the 4th. Let's see if they can get some more runs on the board. Caratini already started the hits off today. Started the scoring off in the first inning. Let's see if he can continue it here. So far, the Astros have a layup, a 3-pointer, and a field goal. I mean, a free throw. A field goal. after getting our dorks handed to us the last 5 games. This feels good. Yeah, absolutely. PK says, remember when Altuve gave up in the extra innings and they threw him out at third? That will never happen again. I sure hope not. It was very un-Altuve-like, right? Yes, please click that like button. Let me refresh the screen right now and take a look at how many people are viewing. We got 107 people. Hey, that's a lot more. I guess they saw the score and wanted to come check it out. 47 likes, though. We're less than 50% on the likes, everybody. Like the live stream. These days, getting the views and getting the likes and getting the support is difficult with the Astros playing in such a questionable manner, to say the least. It has been harmful for my channel, actually. When the Astros aren't doing well, then my channel suffers for it. I wouldn't say that my channel doesn't do well, because even if the Astros are playing poorly, there are still loyal supporters and viewers, and there's still some degree of success. I'm not going to say that I do horribly, but compared to when the Astros are doing well, there's a huge difference. 76-mile-per-hour curveball to Caratini to start him off with strike one. Brady Basso at the plate. I mean, not at the plate, on the mound. On the mound for the A's. 2 outs, runners on the corners. Here's the pitch. That's a high for 92-mile-per-hour fastball. 1-1, Caratini. I wonder if Altuve will try to steal with 2 outs. We'll see. With a lefty, probably not. 92 right in there, fouled off. 1-2's the count. Daryl says, Tommy wants 3-run homie. Yes, he do. Tommy want. Here comes the toss. 93 just above the zone, fouled off again. Count stays 1-2. Jesse says, where the Astros are in this race, we all have to be Guardian and Red Sox fans while they play Detroit. That's true. Give the Astros lots of love. A couple of sweeps in order to get in the playoffs. Curveball, that time he got the bat on it, but fouled it off too early. 77 miles an hour. Caratini got around on it way too early. But fouling it off way too early is better than missing it, that's for sure. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count remains. Make him work for it, Batman. Here's the toss. Wow. Another curveball way outside. He fouls that one off. Victor, remember your teachings when you went to the mountains of Tibet and learned your martial arts to become the Batman. Another 1-2 on the way. 93 right in the zone. He fouls that one off to the right side, down the first base line, into the crowd. The crowd cheers as some guy makes a catch with his bare hand. Another 1-2. Yeah, that's right, PK. He's getting a lot of looks, that's for sure. 92 right in the center of the zone. Fouled off again. This will be the 9th pitch to Caratini, and he only has 1 ball. That's crazy. Can you imagine if he were to walk this at bat? Oh, he fouls it off his foot. Maybe off his ankle. He's back up right after that. Seems all right. Oh, yeah, it hit his shin right above the pad. Why does it so often seem to miss the pad? They got the leg protector on, and the ball always seems to hit like right next to it or right above it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're going to wear something to protect your leg, why not just wear something to protect everything from the knee down? Hey, look at that. Check swing, ball 2. They say he didn't go around. The next pitch will be pitch number 11. Shrewdly says, who do you root for when the Mariners play the Yankees? Well, it just depends on what's on the line. Little check swing in the dirt. He didn't go again. Now we got the full count. Pitch number 12 is going to be coming up in just a moment. Will Caratini actually do it? Will he get the walk? Here's the full count pitch. It's in the dirt. It is a walk. Look at that. He did. Earlier, didn't I say that? How amazing would it be if Caratini were to come back and get the walk? How about that? He took a dozen pitches from Basso and then gets the walk. Holy freaking cow. Good job, Batman. And that brings up our favorite so-so hitter, Christian Walker, with bases loaded. This is the time where you got to get those hits. And he does. Thank you, God. God exists. God is real. He heard my prayers. Walker, please. Bases are loaded. Get a freaking hit. And he does through the opposite side. Paredes is not able to score from second for obvious reasons. Those of you who understand Paredes' condition. 93 miles an hour on that outside edge. And Walker goes opposite field right through the right side. Big hole. Astros are up 7-0. Keep it going. Keep it going. Jesus Sanchez is already out of the game. They bring in Cam Smith. That was an early substitution, but you know, why not? Why not? Here's the first pitch from Basso. Ooh, 93 on the inside edge, strike one. Yes, thank God, Gregory. That makes me feel nice. Doesn't it make you feel good when the bases are loaded and Walker comes through with a hit? I mean, where was that when the game was on the line? Good grief. But at least he got it this time. That's high, way high. That had to have been 2 feet above the zone. 1-1 to crank it up, Cam. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Curveball on the outside edge. He fouls that one off. Maybe Cam starts doing the same thing that Caratini did. Just foul it off, foul it off, foul it off, foul it off. He keeps the 1-2 count for a while. Oh, man. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cam with bases loaded and 2 outs. Here's the toss. Ooh, low and inside. Ball 2. Yep, bases are still loaded. Touchdown, Astros. Yeah, we have a touchdown, guys. We scored a touchdown this game. We even managed to get the extra point through. Squeaked it through just inside the pole. Here's the 2-2 pitch. 92 at the top of the zone, fouled off. Cam Smith now trying to get that pitch count up to 24. Basso up to 18 pitches now with just the at-bat between Victor Caratini and Cam Smith. Jesse says, give us a grand slam. You know, we deserve it. We absolutely deserve it. Here's the pitch. Oh, no. 89 up and outside. Strike 3. Swing and a miss. 89 miles an hour on that upper outside corner. Basso finally gets a perfectly placed pitch. Oh, man. We rack up a few lobsters there at the end of the inning. But better to have just 3 lobsters there rather than to have 6. That's for sure. 2 more runs for the Astros this inning. 7 hits, 7 runs. The A's have 2 hits, no runs. Let's do an updated lobster count. There we go. This is the unofficial Red Lobster count. Stros have 11 lobsters. The A's have 5. That's still not bad. That's still a good amount. You got 7 runs on the board and 11 lobsters. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. That's good. That means you're creating a lot of opportunities and you're capitalizing on most opportunities. So that's excellent. Whereas the A's have lost 5 opportunities. They haven't been able to capitalize even once. There's my man. Well, PK, that pitch, if you're talking about that pitch to Cam, that was a strike either way. It was in the upper outer corner. It was not a trash pitch. It was a perfect pitch. If you go back and look at it. I think that pitch was perfect. In that inning, I wouldn't say that Basso was pitching really well. He wasn't pitching badly. He had a lot of foul balls, so they were getting the bat on the ball. But that last pitch, you couldn't have asked for better placement on that pitch. It was nice. Got to give credit where credit is due on that one. You know what they say, and I always say this, but I think anybody who understands baseball would agree. If you've got 2 strikes and it's close, you got to swing. That first pitch is grounded straight up the middle. Doobie snatches it up and throws it over to first base for out number 1. Tyler Soderstrom goes down on the ground out. Brent Rooker is due up next. 1 up, 1 down. Yeah. Mr. Texas Grass says, we are 1 run short of the amount of runs we scored the last 5 games combined. Let's look at that in a good way, right? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. We're improving. The Astros really care. First pitch is a strike in there to Mr. Rooker. 0-1 is the count. Yeah, Shrewdly says I'd let Sanchez get his hacks. You'd have left him in there? Yeah, I kind of feel like it was a little early to take him out, but I guess because they already had 7 runs on the board, they figured, what the hey? Go ahead and bring in the righty. Bring in the rookie righty. Fromber ahead, 0-2 to Rooker. Up to 36 pitches. Here's the 37th. Swing and a miss, a 3-pitch strikeout to Brent Rooker. 6 strikeouts for Fromber. Colby Thomas comes to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the 4th. Nope, the JD, the Mariners already clinched the division. We can't get the division now. They're too far ahead. Even if they lose out and we win out, there's no way. There are not enough games remaining for us to get the division, so we lost that. The best we can hope for is to win the division series. So we wouldn't clinch the division itself, but we could still win the division. You know what I'm saying? If you understand that. For those of you who understand playoff baseball, I'm sure most of you do, if not all. But after the wild card, we could get into the division series and win that. So despite not being the division winners, we could still come out on top and then go into the ALCS. It's possible. It's possible. 2 balls and 1 strike to Colby Thomas. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Fromber. In the dirt, 3-1. Nope, JD, we lost it, I think, yesterday. Well, yeah, the best we can hope for right now is to get into the wild card. That's the next step. Next step is get into the wild card. 93 low and inside, strike 2. Full count. Yeah, the best we can do for our next step is just get into the wild card spot, pass up the Tigers, take that last wild card spot. I mean, literally getting in the bottom of the barrel, just being the last ones in. Too far inside, and that's a walk. That's the second walk of the game for Fromber. So with 2 outs, we have Colby Thomas on first base, and Nick Kurtz comes to the plate. Well, you could say that October is boring when you're not watching football. 6 days of the week, no, 5 days of the week, because if you're watching college ball and NFL, then you could say 5 days of the week are boring. But then again, you know, back when I was just watching NFL, no, I'm sorry, not NFL, just college ball. When I was just watching the Tigers and I was following the Astros scores, but since I was in Asia, it was difficult for me to see the games. I could only really kind of follow the scores. That was all I could do. I couldn't watch the games. I couldn't easily listen into the games. So the only games that I could really watch were the weekly LSU Tiger football games. And so I had 6 days of no games each week and then basically a full season off. And then whenever the Astros would be in the playoffs, I would have to pull teeth. I would actually buckle down and just bite the bullet and pay for YouTube Premium. But YouTube blocks Japan for that service. So I had to use a VPN in order to watch the Astros playoff games. It was not easy. It was not easy to watch the Astros games. I'd spent a lot of money and a lot of effort to try to get the VPNs working. There's a line drive to left field side. Correa got his glove on it, but was not able to knock it down. That's going to be an opposite field hit for Kurtz. That's the third hit of the game for the A's. And now they have 2 runners on suddenly with 2 outs. Daryl Hernandez comes to the plate. Let's see if we can get a better view of that. Yeah, Correa dove for it, and it just hit off the bottom of his glove. JD, we are 1 game behind the Tigers. If the Tigers lose today and we win, which we obviously will win, then we will be tied with the Tigers for that last spot. But they have the tiebreaker, so they would win. We have to beat them. We can't tie with them. There's a ground out to Doobie. It's shortstop. And that's going to be it. A little bit of traffic for Fromber after getting the first 2 outs. But he gets out of it. We're finished with 4 innings. 7-0 Stros. Going into the top of the 5th. The Astros have lost several series this year. So they lost the tiebreaker with multiple teams. So many of these playoff teams like the Tigers, the Guardians, etc., we are not able to tie them. Now, if we had won the season series against the Tigers and we were tied with them at the end of the season, then we would go into that last wild card spot because we would have the tiebreaker. But because the Tigers have won the season series against the Astros, they have the tiebreaker. That means that we cannot get into the wild card with a tie with the Tigers. We have to have a better record than they do. We have to. There's no choice. That's right. We have no we have no useful tiebreakers. We have no useful tiebreakers. Yep, that's right, PK. No useful tiebreakers at all. Any of the series that we've won this year, none of them are useful right now. None of them are useful for getting us into that wild card position. So that's why we need the Tigers to continue to lose. Some of these games haven't even started yet. Zach Cole is at the plate. Brady Basso still on the mound for the A's. Here's the first pitch. Strike one on the outside edge. That is the 20th pitch of the game for Basso. He had to do a bit of work in the last inning just to get a couple of outs. He had to throw 19 pitches. Cole hits it back to the mound. From Basso to Cole, from Cole to Basso, and out number one on the ground out. Tram is going to stay in. He had a nice single his last at bat. He's 1 for 2 today with a run scored. Let's see what he has to say about his second at bat. Here's the toss. First pitch is outside. The cutter. 1-0. Hey, shoot 'em. It's funny that you mentioned that because I'm thinking about doing some of the other playoff games. Important games and playoff games. If you guys are in, maybe I should. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that on an audience poll. Thank you for mentioning that, shoot, because I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. 92 inside, 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes to the Tram. The Tram is chugging along right now. 93 on the inside, strike one. 3-1 is the count. PK says, I want to see the Tigers fold up like a lawn chair and AJ can carry it out to his pool and take a seat. That's right. I want that narrative to be shut down that the Astros would be doing better if they had him. I don't think so. I think that they would be in no different of a boat. At the very least, it's a speculative coin flip whether the Astros would be doing better or not with him instead of a spotter right now. Here comes the 3-2. Come on, Tram. There we go. Up and in. He gets the walk. Good take, my friend. Good take. Look at that. The AAA Twins are beating up on the Strangers 4-0. How about that? Let's see what other scores we've got here. Holy crap, the Dodgers smacking the Diamondbacks around a little bit. Tram is on first base with 1 out. And Doobie at the plate. First pitch to Doobie is in there for strike one, a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Guys, no matter what the Astros do in the playoffs, are you interested in me doing in some of the other games? Doobie goes into left field all the way to the wall. They're going to bring Tram around to third. They're going to wave him in. Here comes the throw. He's in there. The Tram makes the round. Doobie goes to third base. Holy freaking cow. Doobie with a Doobie double, but then stretches it to 3 when they make the throw home, and they cannot get the Tram, which is running full speed today. Look at that. A cutter inside and low, and Doobie just raked it out to left field all the way to the wall. Paris Chica actually waved Tram around. He was like, why not, man? Go for it. Finally, a good call from Paris Chica over at third base. And Doobie rolls in at third with 1 out. 8-0 Astros, and that brings up Jose Altuve up and in for ball 1. That's right, Gregory. 8 runs. How about 8 more? Let's get greedy. So now the Astros have a layup, a 3-pointer, a field goal, like a jump shot, and a free throw. Ball 2 to Altuve. 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 Doobie on third base with 1 out. Altuve can drive him in easily. Are you kidding me? Altuve shaking his head. That ball was 2 inches, 2 full inches above the zone. Should have been ball 3. It's 2-1. What are you doing, man? That ball was like at Altuve's eyes. You kidding me? Here's the pitch. Altuve hits that one straight up on the infield. Hernandez can't find it. He doesn't see it, and it drops. Dubon is going to score. Yes, the throw comes in, and it bounces off the catcher. It's 9-0 Astros. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know how to describe everything that just happened there. Altuve went straight up in the air, and Hernandez at second base didn't know where the ball was. Doobie jogs home. He wasn't even running full speed. He should have been thrown out. Take a look at this. He's like, where's the ball, dude? I don't see it. And it goes right over his head. Doobie should have been thrown out at home, too, because he wasn't running full speed. But when the ball came in, it bounced off the catcher and went up in the air. So he scores. Altuve's on first base. Astros get all the luck on that one. Two lucky results on the same play. Paredes is at the plate. For some reason, he just stood there and took the first pitch. He takes the second pitch for strike 2. Goodness gracious. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Low and inside, fouled off. The count remains 0-2. Yeah, that glare that you're talking about, Jesse, that happened to the Astros, that was because of the lights. Today, it's because of the sun. On fly balls like that, if you take your eye off of it just for a moment, so easy to lose it. That's grounded to short, and they go to second. He drops it. Look at that. And he could have thrown it to first even after he dropped the ball. Look at this. Look at that. He still could have thrown it to first because Paredes was just jogging lightly to first base. Look at this. He goes to throw it, and he's like, whoops. He still had time to throw it, but he didn't. He didn't realize that Paredes wasn't booking it down the line. So 2 outs, runner on first. Or you could say jogger on first. Fouled off by Correa. The count is 0-1. 9-0 Astros. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Correa. Too far inside. 1-1. That's right, Mr. Texas Grass. When it's your day, it's your day. Here's the pitch. Low. Larry's, yeah, that's right. That's right, PK. Larry's got to be thrilled right now, putting 5,000 on the Astros to win this game. Even if he just doubles his money, that's a big win. Hopefully it makes up for anything that he lost from gambling before. I sure hope so. 2 balls and 1 strike to Correa. That was a nice take. Yeah, I do want to know what you guys think about me covering some of the other games in the playoffs, because I'm thinking about doing that, covering some of the MLB playoff games, no matter what the Astros do. 93, fouled off. Full count. A's have another guy warming up in the bullpen. Here comes the 3-2 from Basso. Whoa, man, that curveball was destroyed into the stands. Little kid caught it on the ricochet with his glove. Nice. Lucky bounce. Let's put one of those into left field, Correa. Man, that was crushed. I want to see one of those go out into the left field wall, over the left field wall. Low and inside, ball 4, good take. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. And that's going to be the last batter for Basso after 44 pitches. They're going to bring in a lefty. Another lefty. Everybody's patting him on the butt. Hey, man, good job, good job. Just not our day. It's not our day. How does it feel, A's? Yeah, you won a couple of games, and you got some runs. But how does it feel to be losing 9-0 in the 5th inning? How does that feel? At home. Forget you, suckers. Got you, suckers. Does anybody know what movie that's from? Got you, suckers. Can you tell me what movie it's from or who said it? What actor said it? Let's see here. Buying rounds for the grounds. Let's see here. We need to do a poll. There we go. There's a poll. Victor Caratini is at plate. We've got a right-hander. The lefty is out. Could have sworn that the Astros announcer said that we were going to have another lefty come in. That was kind of confusing. 0-1 is the count. We've got runners on first and second with 2 outs. Caratini has a single today and a really nice 12-pitch walk. Ooh, 90 in the bottom of the zone on the changeup. The pitcher in the game now is Osvaldo Bido. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to the Batman. Way outside, 1-2. I put a poll in the chat for those of you who don't see it. The question is, would you like for me to do live play-by-play for important and or playoff games other than the Astros? 96 up and in, fouled off. Count remains 1-2. Here we go again with the 1-2. Caratini fouled the ball off. For the poll, would you like for me to do the live play-by-play for the important games remaining in the MLB, the playoff games? Here's the toss. Whoa, crushed to right field, way out there, but foul. Home run distance. Caratini tried to crank it. 1-2 remains. The answers are yes. I'd like for you to do that. Nah, not necessary. Or depends on the game, or just take my money. 1-2, here's the toss. Fouls it off on the left side. 96 miles an hour on that fastball. Caratini's getting around on it still. He keeps fouling the ball off, man. He has seen a lot of pitches. 6 pitches. 6 pitches so far at this at-bat. This bat in the last 18 total. This is about to be 19 with the next one. Here comes the toss from Beto. High and outside, 2-2. Thanks, Gregory. Make sure that you guys vote. I'd like for as many people to vote as possible, because this is one of those things where if most everybody's against it, then I won't bother. Because there won't be a lot of... It's not connected enough to what we're doing here, you know? My focus is Houston. And of course, if the playoff games affect Houston, that's connected, right? But as it relates to other playoff games, I have been thinking about doing the playoff games and even the World Series. That's grounded to the first base side. Kurtz is able to take it himself for out number 3. So Caratini grounds out. 9-0 Astros at the end of 5. You could say at the end of 4.5. But after 5 innings of batting, the Astros have really been putting the hurt on the homeless Athletics. 2 runs in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. The 3rd inning so far, the only one where the Astros haven't put any runs on the board. 9 hits and 9 runs. 14 lobsters. 7 for the A's. The A's have lost or missed or failed 7 opportunities with runners on. They don't have a single run on the board. Pretty nice. So far, we have about 17 votes. Not too many votes right now. Right now, it's looking like the vast majority are saying either yes at 71% or it depends on the game at 24%. That's what most people are saying. Not a single person has said nah. So everybody's interested either in the important games, the playoff games, or at least the games that matter to the Astros. Just like Robert said, the games that affect Houston. You know, it would be nice to see the Astros get revenge. I mean, I was thinking about that. I think I might have said it in the game yesterday, in the live stream yesterday, but how awesome would it be for the Astros to squeak in with that last wild card spot, win the wild card, and then face the Mariners in the division series and win it? Can you imagine the Astros getting into the playoffs and then knocking the Mariners out after the Mariners took the division, swept the Astros at home, and then took the division, and then getting knocked out of the playoffs by the Astros? How awesome would that be? How sweet. Even if the Astros failed in the American League Championship Series, how great would it be for them to win the ALDS? How awesome would that be? I could handle that season. 0-1. How about the rest of you? Could you be happy if the Astros managed that? Get all the way in and knock the Mariners out before being eliminated? Could you rest at night with that season? 0-2 is the pitch count rather. To Harris, he takes that one in the dirt for ball 1, 1-2. Gotcha, shrewdly. Yeah, I'm looking at everybody's comments. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Curveball outside, 2-2 to Harris. Well, yeah, actually, Victor Caratini has solid mechanics. Everyone acknowledges that his mechanics are quite good. 91 below the zone, swing and a miss. Another K. Fred Harris goes down, and that's out number 1. Willie McIver comes up after Harris goes down on the changeup. Here's a toss. Line drive out to right field. Now to play for strike one. I have a feeling that the Astros would come alive to play the Mariners in a playoff series. I think it would have a completely different tone, you know? Here comes the 0-1. Outside and low on the sinker. 1-1 is the count. Well, you know, the Mariners pitching isn't bad, but if they will get Brian Wu back and how well he'll actually be doing, who knows? That's hit up the middle, and Fromberg can't grab it with his glove. Nobody's there to play it, and that'll be a hit for Willie McIver. We have a guy on first base with one out. Shea Langoliers comes to the plate. Caesar, thank you so much for that. Hey, I just got a message that says that's your 10th super chat to me, Caesar. That's my first super chat of the day. And Caesar, that's your 10th one that you've sent to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I guess I'll see you next time. I guess that means you're out. Thanks for being here, bro. Let's see here. Here is the 0-1 pitch, and that's hit out into center field. Another single. Cole brings it in. We've got runners on first and second with one out. Back-to-back singles, a grounder up the middle, and then a line drive to right center field. Langoliers on base. Jacob Wilson comes up with two runners on. PK says Fromber's agent will cut season highlights from only this game. Maybe he will edit it so that he can change the team colors, right? Make it look like several different teams. Here comes the first pitch to Wilson. Low and inside in the dirt, 1-0. Gregory, he removed his hair extensions. If you're talking about Fromber, his hair, he removed his hair extensions. So yes, in a way, he did get a haircut. Fox at bat says, at this point, I'm satisfied with them reaching the playoffs, but yes, it'd be nice if they left on the way to Seattle. Look at that play. Altuve with a diving stop, that ball up the middle, and scoops it to Altuve. He saves the run. Runners on the corners. That ball went off of Fromber's glove. To get the force. So Dubon not only saves a run, but manages to get an out at second base, and that's two down. Two down with runners on first and third. Tyler Soderstrom comes to the plate with a strikeout and a ground out today. He thought that was fair. Whew. Wiped the sweat away. Almost broke up the shutout right there. Astros highest infield outs above average, leading at 30. Astros infield defense, pretty much the best in the league. At least that's something. 0-1 is the count to Soderstrom. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Fromber still on the mound. Only 61 pitches, actually, for Fromber. He could go for a couple more innings. Let's get out of it right here. Here's the toss in the dirt on the curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Soderstrom. Here's the 1-1. PK thinks that Fromber could be a New York Yankee. He wouldn't throw a single tantrum with Boone as the manager. Wouldn't even... Really? Why not? I know that Boone gets a lot of grief By the time Fromber has an opportunity to go to New York, Boone might not even be there. I know that the Yankees fans are tired of Boone. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Woo! Curveball just below the zone. That was not a bad toss, but he didn't go. 2-2 to Soderstrom. Yeah, so far, shrewdly, the luck has gone our way today. Let's see if it continues. Two balls and two strikes. Here comes the toss. This is hit high in the air to the left side. Who's going to get it? Dubon calls for it and gets it. Tram comes in. It looks like Correa didn't see it. And Doobie calls for it and rushes out there and grabs it. Shuts it down. How about that? So Fromber gets out of it. 5 hits in total for the A's, but no runs. A 5-inning shutout so far for Fromber, who's not even up to 70 pitches yet. He's got enough in the tank to go for at least 2 more innings, I think. How nice would it be for Fromber to give us 7 innings of shutout ball? Can you believe that? The Astros put up more than 10 runs on the board. Fromber gives us a shutout. Where was all this from August till now? Where was all this? Mr. Texas Grass has got my wish 5 scoreless. Yeah, that's the thing about New York is a difficult place to be, you know. PK, you know, you say that every manager's every year is never safe unless they win the whole thing. It's funny how fast the fans also forget too, you know. They're not forgiving at all. You know, if the Yankees have a phenomenal year and win the World Series, and then the next year, let's say that they have some injuries and stuff, and despite being a good, solid team, they just have too many problems, right? They lose a pitcher or two, maybe a starter and a reliever. They lose a couple of their key fielders for most of the year, and the inconsistency causes them to miss the playoffs. I'm telling you, the fans will not forgive it, even though there are legitimate reasons, right? Because anybody can make an excuse as to why they're not doing something, but excuses are not reasons. Excuses are flimsy, unacceptable reasons, right? But reasons, honest to goodness reasons. If the Yankees have good reasons for not getting to the playoffs, the fans still don't accept it. Nothing is ever an excusable reason to a Yankees fan. They are an unforgiving lot. By and large, an unforgivable lot. That's right. 95 up and into Walker, and he hits it straight up on the infield. Third baseman is able to take it for out number 1. Walker flies out to the infield on the very first pitch. How many votes do we have on the... We have 29 votes in the live chat. So the question is, would you like for me to do the live play-by-play for important and playoff games other than the Astros? 62% say yes. 24% say depends on the game. 7% say not necessary. Cam Smith also swings after the first pitch and flies it out to right field. Blade makes the play, and that's out number 2. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Osvaldo Bido still on the mound for the A's. So it looks like the vast majority of you are either for 62% for the playoff and important games, and then 24%, the rest of you are essentially like, if the game is important, it depends on the game. We're going to go ahead and end the poll. I don't think it's going to change much. So we're going to go ahead and end that and get it off the screen. Thank you for voting. You can take a look at the poll results right there. Zach Cole at the plate takes that first pitch for strike 1. Here comes the next toss. Woo, 97 at the bottom of the zone, strike 2. 2 outs, 2 strikes, no balls, nobody on. Top of the 6th. Cole, we haven't scored just 1 run in the inning, just saying. Swing and a miss. He decides to keep that trend. Strikeout for Cole. So we have pop out, fly out, strikeout. Beto has the best performance against the Astros this entire game, with basically about 5 pitches. Sets the Astros down 1-2-3. Fromber, unfortunately, had a lot of work that last inning, and he's not going to have a long rest. He's going to have to come right back out in the bottom of the 6th. He'll be facing J.J. Bleday to start it off. Shirley says, come on. We're getting Exxon Valdez next if this inning goes too fast. I certainly hope not, but we'll see. PK says Beto has not looked this sharp all year. Well, he sure did look sharp. You said still not that sharp. Well, in that inning, he looked super sharp. 2 pitches, 2 fly balls, 1 to the infield. And then a really quick strikeout to Cole. He looked sharp there, that's for sure. He looked like an expert. Yeah, he does kind of remind me of Montero. You're right about that, Gregory. He has that Montero look. He definitely does. Yep, Robert, that's right. Excuses are like belly buttons. You know the rest. That's right. I used to say often, excuses are like noses. Runny and stinky. JD says Mariners fans might be the worst. I saw your comment earlier. I meant to take a look at that. You said that every time you go to the Mariners games, you get hassled and haggled the whole time. I can believe it. It's interesting because when you go to a professional game in Asia, if you're in the stadium wearing a shirt that belongs to the visiting team, people will say, "Oh, you're a fan of that team. It's a good team." That will never happen in America. It's the total opposite. It's like, "What are you doing here? Boo, get out of here with your trashy support of that team." 1 pitch. Speaking of 1 pitch, 1 out. Fromber gets the ground ball right off the bat to Bleday for out number 1. Colby Thomas is due up next. "66 pitches now. Here comes the 67th against Colby Thomas. Grounded foul at the plate. 0-1 is the count. I remember going to see a soccer game in China, in Shanghai, a really big soccer game, and 2 Chinese teams were playing. Swing and a miss, 80 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone, 0-2 is the count. It just so happens that the visiting team was a team that I liked. They were from the south, from a city called Guangzhou. Look at that, another 3-pitch strikeout. 8 strikeouts for Fromber today. Swing and a miss by Colby Thomas, and that's 2 down. Fromber's like, I want my rest, man. You didn't give me my rest. We don't have the Exxon ship going just yet. But anyway, everybody in the stadium was wearing the jerseys and the gear for the Shanghai team. I was there wearing the Guangzhou City team jersey. That one's fouled off on the first base side. Nick Kurtz is at the plate. 0-1 is the count. And I remember when I got to my seat, all of the people around me were like, "Oh man, they're a strong team. You have good taste. It's a strong team." That's what they were saying about the visiting team that I was cheering for in Shanghai. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine going to Seattle and wearing Astros stuff and them saying, hey, Astros are a good team. Can you imagine them being so friendly? I don't think so. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fouled off again. 1-2 to Kurtz. Gregory misses the Glenn Davis mustache. One ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here's the toss to Nick Kurtz. Curveball below the zone, and he golfs it out to left field, and that's gone. Kurtz has a homer. No shutout for Fromber. Opposite field homer. That curveball was below the zone, but it was just a little flatter than it needed to be. If it had had the big drop on it like it did earlier, that definitely would have been a strikeout. Yeah, you can see it was just barely below the zone. Did not have the same big drop as earlier. It is 9-1. The A's finally get on the board after almost 6 innings. Hernandez comes to the plate. First pitch is a ball. Yeah, the pitch wasn't bad, but it didn't have quite as much arch as his other curveballs. Oh my gosh. That's going to be an error on Altuve. Ground ball straight to Altuve, and it rolled right up his glove. I think it had a bad bounce on him. Two-out error. Runner on first. That brings up Brett Harris. Those kinds suck, man. Fouled off. Strike 1. Seems like a simple ground ball, and then it kicks up on you on that last bounce. Nothing you can do about that. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Harris. 96 inside. 0-2. Yeah, that's right, Shrewdly. Basically guessed. Made a nice swing. Here's the 0-2. Count remains 0-2. It's sad that the crowd gets a little something, you know. And we didn't get that the last couple of games. We didn't get the consolation prize yesterday, but the crowd today gets the consolation prize. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Fromber. That's a tapper. Might be trouble. Correa charges. And he falls, but as he though. Hit the ground pretty hard. Hey, look at that. Valdez is even checking him out. Pitching coach is also out on the mound, having a little chit-chat with Valdez. 61 likes and 106 people watching. We got about a 60% ratio. It'd be nice to get that up to 75%. We need about 15 more likes on the live stream. If you have not liked it, click that thumbs up right now. And I will tell you right now in advance, arigato gozaimasu. Willie McIver at the plate with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Foul ball. Bounces harmlessly behind the plate for an 0-1 count. Yes, he did. Landed like a sack of taters.
What's taters, precious? It's taters.
Here comes the 0-1. Curveball outside, 1-1. Yeah, I definitely don't want to see Carlos fall down like that. But he seems to be okay. We're getting closer and closer to 1,300 subscribers, guys and gals. That's great. Keep it going. There's a grounder to Dubon who scoops it up and fires to first, and that'll be out number 3. So, a couple of hits, including Kurtz's home run, opposite field homer. But no damage done outside of that. 9 hits for the Stros, 7 for the A's. The score is 9-1. The Astros do have an error on the board after that ball kicked off of Altuve's glove, unfortunately. But it's no big deal. We are holding on to the 8-run lead going into the top of the 7th. We still got at least 3 more innings to go. 3 more full innings of baseball. Here's that playoff tracker that they had. You can see where the Astros were doing pretty well, right? And then they just start falling and falling and falling, falling, falling. And then basically they're kind of on the outside looking in. Let's see what we got on the scoreboard. Reds over the Pirates 2-1. Orioles over the Rays 6-5. This one is hilarious. The AAA Twins beat the Texas Rangers, the South Oklahoma Rangers. Hey, look at that. The Astros are beating the A's 9-1 in the 6th. Nice. Draft Dodgers still beating up on the Diamondbacks 8-0 in the 7th. Marlins and the Phillies haven't started yet. They're warming up. It's almost about to begin. Pre-game for the Tigers and the Guardians. That game is coming up. Are you guys and gals interested in taking a look at that game today? Here's the first pitch from Beto. He's still in the game. He's now facing Taylor Trammell. The Tram has been doing pretty well. He's had 3 at-bats this game. Has a nice single and a walk. 0-1 count after that foul ball. He takes a timeout. Steps out of the box. The only way that I can really do the other games, by the way, that's another foul ball. 0-2 is the count at Tram. Here comes the next pitch by Beto. The only way that I can do the games, the other games, is to change or upgrade my MLB package. I'm willing to do that as long as there's interest for those games. But right now, the MLB package I have is Astros only. So I would have to add those games. 96 above the zone. That's why I need to make sure that there's really strong interest, that most people really want to see those games. I'm going to check to see if that Tigers game is possible for me to look at today. Might not be. Swing and a miss, slow and inside. One down in the 7th. Mauricio Dubon comes to the plate. Let's see. Okay, the Detroit-Boston game is on Apple TV today. So I would have to reactivate my Apple TV account in order to get that game. Here's the toss. Doobie, I don't know why he does that sometimes. He just backs out and automatically takes the pitch. He wasn't even going to try to swing at it or do anything, and that's strike one. 20 pitches now for Beto. Here comes the 0-1. Check swing. Did he go? They say he did not. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Whoa. Way up and in. 2 balls, 1 strike to Doobie. One out, nobody on. Top of the 7th, 2-1. Here's the pitch. Up high, 3-1. Good at bat so far for Doobie. Up and in, that's a walk. 2 walks for Doobie today. We have a base runner with 1 out. And Jose Altuve back at the plate. Yeah, that was Lord of the Rings Smeagol, Gollum.
That's where it was, my breath. What's taters? What's taters? What's taters? Ah!
Arias is batting for Altuve. Not surprising to see that they went ahead and took Altuve out. Kind of surprised they didn't take him out already. Swing and a miss for Arias. 0-1. Let's see you do something, bro. Do something, mister. Outside and low, 1-1. Yeah, he has been a machine this game, PK. Fromber, that is. If he finishes up a strong 7 innings, that's going to be amazing. But he's going to have a good, solid 7th inning. Foul down the third base line. The count's 1-2 to Urias. PK says Rangers have packed it in. They packed it in. Everyone down. Both teams giving the minor leagues their shots. Yeah. Makes sense. Here's the 1-2. Hey, base hit to right field for Urias. Doobie goes to second base. That's 10 hits for the Stros today. We got to 10. We got to double digits. We got to Doobie digits. Nice pitch on the outside. Off the end of the bat. Nice solid thud out into right field. We have runners on first and second with 1 out. Isaac Paredes is out of the game. Yainer Diaz is at the plate for Paredes. Here's the toss. Very first pitch, he hits it straight up into the air. First baseman is trying to shield his eyes, and he does. Kurtz puts it away for out number 2. 1 pitch, and he flies out. You had an opportunity there, Diaz, and you blew it. Carlos Correa comes to the plate with the runners on first and second and 2 outs. When the Rockets or Astros were winning, my grandfather would say, "Don't worry, they know how to lose." That's hilarious. That's so sad, but I can understand the feeling. 29 pitches for Beto. Here comes the 30th, and that's a strike right in the bottom of the zone to Correa. PK, you're right. Urias was overdue for a hit, and he got one. Here's the pitch. Well, PK, there's no odd time for me because most of the time the games are generally between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. Most of the MLB games are generally not too bad for me. Is that going to be fair? It's right into the corner. Look at that. And it bounces over the fence. Doobie scores, and we got to our double digits. I thought we would. 10-0. Correa with a double over the fence in right field, right into that corner. That's the one that he kind of missed earlier. Wasn't it Correa that missed that earlier? Look at this. Yeah, maybe about a foot or two inside the line, and it bounces over the wall. We have runners on second and third with 2 outs. 11 hits now for the Stros, and the Batman comes to the plate. Here comes the pitch. The Astros are 7 for 15 with runners in scoring position today. South Korea gets the double. The Batman comes to the plate. He's got himself a single, a walk, and an RBI. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the toss. Check swing on the inside slider. 1-1. Yeah, sometimes the games can be as early as midnight or like 12:30. The earliest games I've ever done were 12:30 my time, just after midnight. Some of the games start at 2 or 3 a.m., the afternoon games. Today's game, because it was on the West Coast, an afternoon West Coast game. And so you could say that games mostly start between 3 a.m. and 9 a.m., the vast majority of games. But even then, the biggest majority of games start between 7 and 9 a.m. my time, which is fine. But that's fouled off by Caratini. The count stays 1-2. But whenever they play on the West Coast, the evening games are always late. They start at like 11 o'clock, right before lunchtime. And those games are super easy for me because I don't have to turn my alarm on. I can sleep as much as I need to. I can rest. Sometimes I really, really need it. Swing and a miss, 97 miles an hour at the top of the zone. Caratini can't get the bat on it. That's out number 3, but the Astros get their free throw finally. I've been waiting for them to get the free throw. So we've got the layup. We got a jump shot. We got a 3-pointer. We got a sky hook. We got a Hakeem Olajuwon sky hook. Not an Abdul-Jabbar, but Olajuwon. I know that Jabbar is famous for the sky hook, but I'm an Olajuwon guy. You know what I'm saying? And then we now have the free throw. Astros up 10-1 going into the bottom of the 7th. 11 hits for the Stros, 7 for the A's. 11 lobsters for the Astros. 18 lobsters for the Stros. 13 for the A's. But 18 lobsters is great when you have 10 runs on the board. Like I said before, if you've got more than 50% of your lobsters in runs, that's great. So if you have 10 lobsters and 5 runs, that's good. Astros have more than 50%, so that's excellent. But anyway, if Detroit and Cleveland play at 2 or 3 or 4 a.m., I don't prefer that, but I'm kind of used to it. You know, it just happens sometimes. Yeah, Olajuwon, you don't need to tell me that. I saw that 1,000 times or more. The fadeaway, the shake and bake kind of fall away jumper. I mean, how do you block a guy like that? A guy who's 7 feet tall to do a fadeaway jumper on the corners or on each edge. Fadeaway into the right on the line on each side of either side of the goal. That's a difficult shot to guard from. He was so good at that. Those fadeaways. He was awesome at the fadeaway, but he could also do the mini hooks. I think all centers have to do the mini hook. Fromber's back on the mound facing Shea Langoliers. Here comes the 0-1. Woo! On that outside edge, the curveball called strike 2. Yeah, I just changed it to the hook because I already said field goal, so I didn't want to be redundant. Try to mix it up a little bit. Here's the 0-2. Another 3-pitch strikeout for Fromber, swing and a miss by Langoliers. Holy freaking cow. Langoliers was hot today, too. He was 3 for 3. Make that 3 for 4 with that strikeout. 9 strikeouts for Fromber today. I think that's correct. Yeah, that's right. 9 strikeouts. J.J. Bleday at the play. 96 fouled off. Strike 1. Astros commentators say, we haven't seen Happy Fromber very much lately. Smile. Good attitude. Good results. Is it the hair? The world may never know. This could literally be Fromber's last game with the Astros. Have you thought about that? We could be witnessing Fromber Valdez's last game with the Astros. It's possible. 81. Inside and low. Clips the corner for strike 2. It's 1-2. If the Astros were to miss the playoffs, this would be it for Fromber. No more games with the Stros. Can you believe that? I didn't think about that until just now. But it's true. He will not appear in the Angels series. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Bleday. Low and outside in the dirt. 2-2. Yeah, PK, like the game today is an early game, but started after 4 a.m. 97 up and in, and that's 10 strikeouts for Fromber. Look at that. 90 pitches right now. Correa, I like how Correa's walking the ball over and just dropping it in his glove with his glove. It's funny. Max Muncy is pinch hitting for Soderstrom. First pitch to him is a ball. 97 people watching. We've been pretty consistent all day long with about 100 people from the beginning until now. Early on, the first couple of innings, I think that we were around 63, 65 viewers, and then we got up to 100 after that, and it's been consistent since then. Ground ball to short. Doobie's got it. He throws over to first base. Good play. 7 innings for Fromber Valdez. 1 run given up on a solo homer. Great effort by Fromber today. Most likely, he is done for the day. 92 pitches, 65 strikes. 10 strikeouts, 2 walks. 1 earned run, 7 hits. Now, this is the Fromber that we're looking for. This is the Fromber that you're looking for. This is the Fromber who trusts his visor, not his feelings. Fromber got ready before the game, and he's talking to his pitching coach, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he says, listen, Obi-Wan, today I'm going to use the force. I'm going to use my feelings.
No, Framba, do not use your feelings. That's the problem. Use your visor. Use your catcher. Listen to those around you. Don't trust your feelings. Let go of the anger.
Let's see here. Wow, we are way short of 100 likes today. 68. We're not even at 75% on the likes. Now, if we only have 100 people viewing the whole game, I can understand not getting to 100 likes. But we are 7 likes short of 75%. So if you have not liked the live stream, I appreciate you taking the time to do that right now. Thank you in advance. You know, what's kind of interesting is that I got more sympathy super chats yesterday than today, and the Astros are winning 10-0. That's kind of crazy. Here is the pitch. Wow, Walker rips it out into left field all the way to the wall. It's a homer on the very first pitch. Look at this. Christian Walker, Scott McGough pitches a ball that goes right into left field, a line drive homer that just barely squeaks over the fence. And Walker gets a homer. 86-mile-per-hour slider, low and inside, and he just lines it right over the fence. That looked like a minor league homer. 11-1 Astros. We reestablish our double-digit lead. Yeah, no runners on and no pressure. He becomes a phenomenal hitter when the pressure is off. Cam Smith at the plate takes the first pitch for a ball. That second pitch is in there for strike one. 1-1. How about that? Scott McGough. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball to third. He scoops it up, fires it over to first, and that'll be out number 1. Cam Smith grounds out. Yeah, Fromber definitely will not go a complete game. It's a nice thought, but since he's over 90 pitches, that won't happen. Pretty sure that he's going to be out. I mean, they could let him come back out for the 8th, but I don't think that they're going to do that. Zach Cole at the plate. Took the first pitch for a ball, second one in the bottom of the zone for strike 1. He struck out his last at bat, but he does have a double today, a stolen base and a run scored. Ooh, 87 low and inside, swing and a miss, 1-2's the count. I was thinking about doing a live stream one day, going to see a baseball game in Hiroshima City. Are you guys and gals interested in seeing that? I don't know how long I'd be able to live stream, but it'd be kind of cool to go see a game and take you along so you can kind of see what it's like to be inside of a Japan baseball stadium during a game. I'd like to be able to take a bigger screen, though, like a tablet. If I could take a tablet with me so I could see the live chat, that'd be really cool. It's difficult to see it on my phone. Phone screen is big, but it's just too small, you know. Full count to Cole. Yeah, Luke, you're right. Sweet the Angels. There's a good chance we can make it. Fouled off. Count stays full. Because I can tell you this. The action on the field is not going to look very different than what you're seeing in an MLB game. but the noise of the crowd and the things that they're doing is a completely different experience. It'd be kind of cool to take you all with me. And the weather's really nice right now. Maybe coming up in the coming days, if I have an opportunity, it'd be kind of cool to take you guys and gals with me to one of those games so you can just kind of get a little taste of it. Three balls and two strikes. The count remains. One out. Here comes the 3-2 to Cole. Ooh, strike three. He thought it was going to be a walk. He threw his bat, started to go to first base, but that was a strike, my friend. On the lower outside corner. Can't be taking those pitches. Got to swing at that. Out number 2. You know, Detroit losing today, Doug, is going to be a big factor whether or not the Astros can get in. They need to lose today. Astros won, or they're going to win. The Tram is at the plate with a single walk, couple of runs scored today. His contribution today is not insignificant. It might seem so since the Astros have 11 runs on the board, but imagine if the Astros only have 4 runs or 5 runs, then Tramel's efforts today are key to that, right? Getting on base with a hit and a walk and scoring 2 times. These things matter. 84 outside, 1-1 is the count. I have a good friend coming in from Australia in the next couple of weeks. Swing and a miss below the zone. 1-2 is the count. He's going to help me try to sort out some things around here. But to be honest, with my health situation right now and the amount of things that need to be done in this house, wow, yeah, that was crushed. Look at that. Look at that. That was crushed all the way out to right field, but just foul. That would have been a monster bomb for Tramel. He just launched that one. The count remains 1-2. Here's the toss. Oh, he takes a strikeout after that bomb. After the bomb, he bombs. That's out number 3. Cole and Tramel go down looking, but that was what a crush by Tramel. Missed opportunity right there. That would have given him a really great game today, you know, with a single, a walk, 2 runs scored, and then a homer. That would have been awesome. It's all right. Bottom of the 8th coming up, the Astros up 11-1. But to be honest, for those of you who don't know my living situation here, this house is very old. I'm sure you know that. But it doesn't have any plumbing at all inside. Right now, my kitchen it has been completely gutted. It is now basically like a shop, a wood shop. My kitchen has been converted into a wood shop, essentially, because I need the space to do woodworking. So I have no kitchen. I have no indoor plumbing. I bought a toilet and a bathtub, and I've been renovating a room to create a bathroom because this house never had a bathroom. That's how old it is. The house had a urinal installed outside the house on the corner of the house, and it has a passive flushing system, so it has a trap. Whenever men would use this urinal, the urine would just go down into this trap. It's gravity feed, so it doesn't have a flush or anything like that. And if you want to use a, quote, toilet, you have to go out into the storage building. In the storage building, there's a squat toilet. If you don't know what a squat toilet is, it basically is a hole in the floor. and that goes into an old stone septic tank. So if I want to do my business, that's where I have to go. You can see where this is not only inconvenient, but especially more so during the winter time, and even more so for somebody like me who has problems with edema, leg swelling, and anemia. You know what I'm saying? Enio de los Santos is on the mound for the Astros, facing Max Schumann, who hits it high in the air to the right side. Walker puts it away for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down. In your face. Colby Thomas comes to the plate. 0 for 2 today with a walk. Anyway, there are so many other things to renovate and fix and clean around here. And because of my health condition and finances, I'm thinking that during the winter time, I might go rent a temporary place in the city. 1 ball, 1 strike. First pitch strike, second pitch ball. 2 fastballs. 1-1 with 1 out. Here comes the toss. Nice slider. 1-2. So, of course, that would put me in a nice, clean environment where I don't have to do any type of cleaning or renovations. I could continue the live streams and I could be nice and comfortable during the winter time. That's going to be a single up the middle. A 1-2 single for Colby Thomas. Runner on first base with 1 down. Well, Jesse, you said that in order for the Astros to have a chance of winning or the wild card, Detroit need to be 2-2 for the next games. That's only half. That's only partly true, right? If the Astros win out, here's the pitch. We need the Tigers to lose today, and then we cannot end the season with a tie with the Tigers. Kurtz at the plate with the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice. 95 on the inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We cannot tie the Tigers. If we tie the Tigers, we'll be out. Yeah, I already assumed that Fromber would be out after 7 innings. I didn't think that he would be in the 8th. It wouldn't make any sense to let him keep pitching. It's unnecessary. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kurtz. Here comes the toss. Ooh, in the bottom of the zone, 89 miles an hour on the changeup. Could have been a strike 3. That was close. What a nice pitch. Full count. Here comes the toss. That's hit high in the air. Out to left field. It might have the distance, and it does. Kurtz has another home run to opposite field. On a 3-2 count, he takes De Los Santos deep. 9 home runs against the Astros in 10 games for Nick Kurtz. 18 RBIs against the Astros by this one guy. Can you believe that? Astros just can't pitch to Kurtz. 96 on the inside. And he comes around late on it, but it doesn't matter. He put it straight up in the air, and it just kept floating and floating and floating, and it went right over the fence. It is 11-3. De Los Santos has now allowed at least one run in 4 out of 5 appearances recently. 0-1 is the count to Hernandez. Here's the toss. This goes up the middle, and it's going to drop in front of Cole for another hit. 3 straight hits against De Los Santos. With 1 out. Here comes the first pitch to Brett Harris. 96 on the outside edge, 96 mile per hour, strike 1. Mark says that Detroit has lost 8 in a row, Houston 5 in a row before today. We need Cleveland to finish off the sweep and for the Red Sox to take 2 of 3 from Detroit. That's right. Definitely need the Red Sox to take at least 2 of those games. It's another strike. They got swing and a miss. Nice. 96 miles an hour, just above the zone. 3-pitch strikeout for De Los Santos. Talk about bipolar. Give up 3 hits, including a homer, and then come back with a 3-pitch strikeout in your face. They've actually got Brian Abreu taking warm-up pitches out there in the bullpen. That's nuts. Maybe he wants to stay warm. Stay in good shape. This is hit out to center field, but Cole is underneath it. 1 pitch, 1 swing, out number 3 for Willie McIver. And they get out of the inning, but not before the Astros give up 2. Thanks to De Los Santos. No harm in this game, but otherwise, that's not good. If the Astros had been winning 4-3, they would have just given up the lead right there. That's not good. But, I will say that I think that in a 4-3 game in the 8th inning, we probably wouldn't see, I don't know, if we had a better option, we might not see De Los Santos in there. 10 hits, though, for the A's, 12 for the Stros. Lack of efficiency bringing runners in for the A's. If it weren't for the home runs of Kurtz, they wouldn't have any runs at all. Kurtz has a solo homer and a 2-run homer. That's all of the A's RBIs today. Texas Dave, you have my permission to bat next inning. I don't know if Espada will agree, but you have my permission. PK's right, though. I feel the same way. Detroit just needs to keep losing out. No more wins, none. Let AJ soak his feet in his dirty pool and drink natties. That's funny. Mauricio Dubon is due up at the plate, followed by Ramon Urias and Yainer Diaz. Here comes the first pitch to Dubon. He immediately grounds it to third base, who fires it over to Kurtz for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 9th. JP France? Hey, how about that? JP France is warming up in the bullpen with Nick Hernandez. Wow. Nice to see France out there. I'd love to see France come in and have a 1-2-3 ninth. Up and into Urias for ball 1. Yeah, A JP France sighting. It's a rare thing. 84 inside, fouled off.
Yes, folks, we are very lucky today as we maintain our spot here in the bush. We have seen two rare sightings. Our first sighting this morning of the rare black rhinoceros, and then now of the ultra rare JP France, one of a kind, endangered species.
Next pitch to Urias is in there for strike two. 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Yeah, I sure hope he has a good outing. I like JP France. He's one of those guys that came in and, it's kind of like Colton Gordon, kind of came in at a time we needed him and wasn't an ace, but he had his moments and he did what we needed him to do sometimes. Whoa. Urias line drove that ball. Looked like it was headed to left field, but the third baseman snatched it out of the air. And that's out number 2. Urias walks back to the dugout. He didn't have to jump too much for it. Maybe about 3 inches off the ground, but he got it. Good catch. Diaz is at the plate with 2 outs. 85 miles an hour below the zone. Bounced away for strike 1. Mark, you're ridiculous. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Low and inside, ball 1. 1-1 is the count. Mark says, breaking news. The Astros trade Walker and the Sugarland Space Cowboy Stadium for Nick Kurtz and have agreed to pay for all of Walker's salary just to make the deal happen. What a deal. Talk about a steal. 2 balls and 1 strike. PK says we need to give up way more to get Kurtz. Yeah, here comes the Yiner chase. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ooh, in the dirt, and he didn't swing. 3-1. Good for you, Yiner. Good for you. This is a big at bat for Yiner. He's seen 4 pitches. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Here's the pitch. That's out into right field. Is going to drop. Blade dives for it at the last moment and is able to grab it. So Yiner flies out. The weak fly ball single is not going to happen for you today, Mr. Diaz. And that's going to be it for the Astros bats today. The final result for the Astros hitting is 12 hits, 11 runs, and 18 lobsters. That's the total for the Astros today. The A's had a really bad day today. They had 15 lobsters so far. They've still got 1 more inning of hitting, but as it is right now, as it stands, they've got almost as many lobsters, but only 3 runs on the board, courtesy of Nick Kurtz's bat. Braden says, it's cool when I saw the Astros scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings. I was actually on the bus coming home from school when the game started. It must have been a good feeling. Take a look at the score and see 5-0, right? And thanks for stopping in, Braden. I hope you had a good day at school. PK says, Astros get Kurtz, A's get Smith, Cole, Brown, Walker, and his salary, Pena, and $50 million. You say I'm not overstating, but you are. That trade would never happen, but not because it's not enough on the Astros side. It's too much. I mean, I know that Kurtz is good, But come on. Can't take that seriously. You're talking about an ace pitcher, right? A phenomenal rookie. And then another rookie with a lot of potential in Cam Smith. Walker, and then Pena, a superstar. And 50 million? That's unreasonable. I think everybody would agree that that's unreasonable. If you're truly being serious, then you're unreasonable. That's my stance. Nick Hernandez is in. We don't get to see the very ultra rare, one-of-a-kind JP France, unfortunately. Swing and a miss. Now, we might. It just depends on who comes to the plate, what happens this inning. But 1 ball, 1 strike to Shea Langoliers. I forgot to change the picture. Nick Hernandez. Where's your picture, Mr. Hernandez? There it is. That pitch is a little high. 2 balls and 1 strike to Langoliers. Every time I think of this guy's name, I think of the Stephen King book. He has a book. I think it's called The Langoliers. Old Stephen King book. That's hit out in the left field. Trammell comes in and dives for it. Can't get to it. He can't trap it. He's going to roll to second, no problem. That's another hit. Starts off with a double off of Hernandez. I don't think that Tram had an opportunity to make that catch, but he tried to trap it to keep it from going out to the wall and save a double, but no harm, no foul. If he catches it, he stops a double. If he doesn't, he gets the double, but no big deal. Next batter is J.J. Bleday. Oh, that's going to be hit all the way out. Cam can't get it. I thought it was gone. That's going to easily score a run. Bleday goes to second base, so back-to-back doubles off of Hernandez. We might be seeing France after all. See, I told you should have brought in France. I told you. You should have brought in the ultra-rare, one-of-a-kind JP France. Cam Smith got back there, misplayed it right at the wall. Difficult catch. Bullpen is going to start moving again. It's 11-4. Josh Miller comes out to the mound, and they're going to give their bullpen a chance to get warmed up. No, it's Brian Abreu. They're not even going to go to France. They're going to say, you know what? No more fooling around. This is the second time that the Astros have gotten Abreu up to warm up. Yeah, that's right. JP the Black Rhino. The next batter is Max Muncy. Bleday is on second base, no outs. Back-to-back doubles off Hernandez. Here comes the next toss. Slider a little high. Close to the zone. Here comes the toss. Low and outside. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That is a strike in the bottom of the zone. 2-1 is the count. And I coined JP France's nickname, the Black Rhino. Here comes the 2-1. Low and outside, 3-1. Yeah, Hernandez has given up 2 doubles, and now he's down in the count 3-1. If he doesn't get this guy, maybe time to make a change. He probably would love it. Hey, JP, you know what they're calling you online? What's that? The Black Rhino. Really? Why is that? I'd like to hear what they say to him. That's a walk. 2 doubles and a walk for Hernandez. Why does it look like Hernandez has the devil beard going on? You know what I'm saying? The pointy beard. We got the devil pitching right now. That boy's got the devil in him. That's of the devil. That hairstyle's of the devil. Yeah, that's going to be it. Espada says, nah, that's okay. Couple of doubles and a walk. Let's get out of here. I don't want to extend this game any more than we have to. Good move, Espada. We were on a short break while they bring in Abreu. I'm pretty sure that Abreu's in. He was the only one warming up. Unless the Black Rhino was... I can't even say it without laughing. The Black Rhino. If the Black Rhino is not ready to come in the game, then I guess we will be seeing Abreu in just a moment. PK says, let this guy finish it. He's a big boy. He got into trouble. Let him get himself out of it. Oh my gosh. What movie does that remind me of when they've got the... It was the movie with Ben Affleck. I think they made 2 of them. The Accountant? Yes, it's The Accountant. Have you guys seen The Accountant? Do you remember the scene where the father takes his 2 sons to meet their bullies, and he has them in the car, and he lets the weaker son get out and go out and start to fight these bullies, and he makes his other son, the older son, kind of wait for him and let him kind of learn his lesson, right? Before he lets his son go in to help him, his other son. Do you guys remember that scene? That's what you're saying to do with Nick Hernandez right now, PK, right? The Joe Espada is like the father, and the pitching coach is trying to go out. Or maybe Espada is trying to go out, and the pitching coach grabs Espada and says, no, let him learn his lessons. And then after that walk, he's finally like, okay, you can go. He's learned his lesson. Brian Abreu is on the mound. Here's the first pitch. Whoa, 94 way up high over the head of Caratini. And the runners will advance to second and third. That's not the way to start right there, Abreu. That was like 3 feet over the glove. Holy freaking cow. Holy guacamole. Holy shnikes. You know, it'd be really awesome is to do like a really long live stream one day when I have a day off. Take you guys to Hiroshima City. Strike 1, 1-1, 95 mile per hour fastball. Go to a Hiroshima Carp game. Go to my favorite American comfort food restaurant in Hiroshima. Show you the nachos that they have there. The nachos are freaking awesome there. Up and inside, 2-1 to Schumann. Maybe take you to the Atomic Bomb Dome. Show you around there. It'd be awesome if I had the energy to do that. It'd be great. Maybe whenever Glenn gets here from Australia, maybe if I have the energy, he and I can do that together. But I don't know if they're going to have any baseball games by that time. They might. We'll see. They should. But then again, that's a strike on the outside edge. 2-2 to Schumann. The Carp, unfortunately, despite being phenomenal at home, they've been absolutely hideous on the road and are not going to make the playoffs this year. It's so sad because early part of the year, like almost the first half of the year, they were just destroying other teams. They were second in the entire professional league. And then they just started sucking on the road. Check swing, low and outside. Did he go? No, he did not. 3-2. Yep. Imagine if we were only up 1. That would be terrible, right? Giving up 3 runs in 2 innings here in the 8th and the 9th. Can't be doing that. This is going to score a run. Ground ball to Correa. Fires to first base to get the first out. It's 11-5. Runners on first and second. I agree. We should have brought in the Black Rhino. Should have brought him in. That was the best move. Well, you know, he disappeared. We had one sighting and then he disappeared. It was too late. When you see him, you got to get him right then. Look at that. Nice. Ground ball backhanded by Dubon, who fires it over to first base. A strike. One pitch to that batter, Colby Thomas, out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. So Abreu, back-to-back ground outs. And guess who's at the plate? Nick Kurtz with 1 runner on, outside, 97 miles an hour. One and 0. Here's the pitch. 88 miles an hour, low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, that's right. If you don't corral the Black Rhino, he disappears. And they had him corralled. For that one moment, they had him corralled in the literal bullpen. But he got out. Here's the pitch. 86 miles an hour on the slider. Strike 1. 2-1. Why not just hit him? Tell Abreu to crank it up to 100 miles an hour and just hit Nick Kurtz. End his season on a high note. 97 inside. Fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, we're not going to see him again for a while. I won't miss him. But you know what? My guess is that his next year is not going to be nearly as good as this year. I mean, he had a great first year, but I think that there will be a little bit of fall off next year. It's my feeling. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner on second and 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Abreu shows the young Mr. Kurtz who the real boss is. Nice pitch. Abreu comes in, gets 3 straight outs. Ground ball, strikeout. Astros are still in this thing as of right now. We're going to have to wait and see how the Tigers do. Also, the Red Sox. These games are still important. 11-5, the Astros win despite giving up 4 more runs in the 8th and the 9th. 12 hits for both teams. Better efficiency for the Stros, converting most of those base runners, or many of those base runners, into runs. The final lobster count is Astros 18, A's 18. But the difference is that the Astros put 11 runs on the board. Well done. Great day for Fromber. 7 innings pitched, just 1 earned run. Let's actually pull that up on the ESPN website. I want to take a look at the game. As you can see up here, the final 11-5. Astros scored 2 in the first, 3 in the second, none in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, none in the sixth, 1 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth, and none in the ninth. So they score in every single inning except for the third, the sixth, and the ninth. Something about the threes. The third, the sixth, and the ninth. 1 error for the Astros today. Let's take a look. Look at all that scoring. That's nuts. Almost. That's what you want to see in an Astros game, right? Astros score, 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 Astros score. Just nickel and diming the A's to death. Single to right. Fielder's choice, double to left, single to left, grounder to third, single to left, single to right, double to left, single to second, ground rule double, homer to left. Walker's solo home run in the 8th inning is the only run that the Astros had via the home run. Their other 10 runs were from singles, fielder's choices, and doubles. I mean, this was a hitting game for the Astros, just hitting it all around the park. And the long ball wasn't even needed. But let's take a look at the pitcher's performance, because today was opposite. In the Mariners series, for those of you who don't know, the Astros relief pitchers were actually stellar. Even though I know it sounds crazy, but if you go look it up, trust me, I made a video about this because I thought it was so amazing. The Astros relief pitchers were phenomenal against the Mariners. They were so-so against the Rangers, and they actually got destroyed in one game. But despite that, we swept the Rangers. However, despite basically being almost perfect against the Mariners, the Astros lost. And I'm talking about the relief pitchers. The Astros relief pitchers were almost perfect against the Mariners, but still lost every single game. It's crazy. The problems were twofold. Number one, starting pitching, giving up too many runs. And then the second problem, which was a big problem with the Hunter Brown game, was that the Astros weren't scoring runs. But here we have the opposite issue. The starting pitching was phenomenal. 7 innings pitched by Fromber, 7 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, 10 strikeouts. Fromber had a stellar day today, an absolutely stellar day. But the Astros also scored 11 runs. So not only was the starting pitching phenomenal, but the hitting was phenomenal. What was the problem? Well, today's problem was just our 2 middle relievers. Eniel De Los Santos and Nick Hernandez didn't get the job done. But then again, if we were in a leverage situation, I don't think that we would see either one of these guys. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Our leverage guy came in and was 3 up and 3 down. Abreu came in and did exactly what he was supposed to do. He came in with runners on and no outs. Ground out, strikeout. That's exactly what he was supposed to do. 12 pitches, 7 strikes, 1 strikeout, no hits, no earned runs. So he did what he needed to do. Now let's take a quick look at the Astros' next upcoming game. We've got the series starting against the Angels. We'll do a quick preview of tomorrow's game. We go right into the other series in Los Angeles. I guess you could say Anaheim. Tomorrow, it's right here. For me, these games are more reasonable. At least the first 2 games are. 10:38 a.m. tomorrow and Sunday for me. For you guys in the U.S., it'll be Friday and Saturday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For me, it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Monday's game, game 3, is 4:07 a.m. So I'm going to have to get up a little easy for that. Now, look at this. Currently, they have Framber Valdez scheduled to pitch 2 days from now. Do you think that's an error? They're going to let Valdez pitch with 1 day rest? I don't think so. I think this is incorrect. That's got to be incorrect. But let's forget about that for now. Let's take a look at tomorrow's game. Jason Alexander's back on the mound. Let's hope that he can go back to having a solid start after getting blown up. Poor guy. all of that effort to contribute to the Astros and do his best, and then to get blown up in the second inning. That's terrible. That's just terrible. But he'll be facing Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks has a 4.79 ERA. He's 8-10. 159.2 innings pitched. He's given up 162 hits, so he's averaging just slightly more than 1 hit per game. About 1 hit per game. I'm sorry, not per game. Can you imagine what a great pitcher that would be? About 1 hit per inning, that is. 106 strikeouts. That's modest. 43 walks. It's not bad. 24 homers. We'll see how the Astros fare against him tomorrow. Let's see here. The Astros lead this series 2-1. That's the second half. So the Astros really need to sweep this series. Can't afford to take any more losses. Now let's take a look at the scoreboard right quick. Yeah, the Gold Glover was producing the RBIs. He produced a couple, right? Oh, right now the Tigers are already up in the first, 2-0 over the Guardians. Come on, Guardians, you got to fight a little harder than that. The Blue Jays and the Red Sox will start in about 10 minutes or so. Maybe less than 10 minutes. So, Red Sox currently 87-71. The Astros are 85-74, unless they haven't updated that. Let me take a look. 85-74. Is that right? Let me take a look at the standings. It seems to be correct right now. But if we take a look at the MLB playoff picture as it stands at the moment, not MLB TV, the playoff picture, that's what we needed. This one right here, this bracket. For those of you who don't know, currently the way it stands is like this. The Tigers have that 6th wild card spot right here. The Red Sox have the 5th spot. It's still possible that one or both of these teams could be passed by the Astros, but they're going to need to lose. So we need actually the Yankees to beat the Red Sox. We need the Guardians to beat the Tigers. And the Astros, of course, have to win. You put those things together, the Astros can get that last wild card spot. So we'll see. But anyway, that's it. That's it for today, I think. Thank you all for being here. I don't know what the final count is on the likes on the live stream. Let's see if we got to 75%. The average viewers today was about 100. On the average, we had about 100 viewing at one time. We did wind up getting to 82 likes on the live stream, so that's fine by me. I would say that that's over 80%. I think that when I look at my analytics later on, it will say that I averaged around 100 viewers on the live stream throughout the live stream, 100 steady viewers, and getting to 82 likes is not bad for that. So thank you for that. Did have, I think, 1 super chat today. So thank you for the super chat. Kind of disappointing considering how the Astros were playing so well today. It's kind of funny how that works out sometimes. Everybody was feeling sad for me yesterday, so I got more donations. But today the Astros did really well, but I guess everybody was just too emotionally exhausted from the first 2 games. and don't want to invest. But I do hope that you can continue supporting the channel by listening in, continuing to listen to the live streams, like the live streams, and keep coming back. Keep commenting, staying positive, supporting the team, and we'll keep growing the channel, keep growing the community. JP, the Black Rhino. That's right. I coined the Black Rhino. Well, hopefully he'll earn that name. I'd like to see him come in, but he is rare, even if he doesn't come back in. If we see him in the bullpen, but we don't see him come in, he'll continue to keep that name, right? If he comes in, he does a good job, but he only comes in sometimes, that'll work. If he never comes in, but he stays in the bullpen, it will also fit, right? Fromber got to pet the Black Rhino, but he scared him off. Yeah, that's right. He got close. He saw him out there from the brush, but he was not able to get close enough to take a picture. Yeah, you got to be careful the way you handle the Black Rhino. You never know. But anyway, this is where we're standing today. We'll keep a lookout on that scoreboard. And see how it goes. But as of right now, the Astros, they're back on track where they need to be. Let's just hope the Gardenians can come back and win, and that the Red Sox can fall as well. That's all for today. Thank you so much. Thank you all. All I have to say now is Geaux Stros, and see you tomorrows. Goodbye for now.